You hear me just fine. Fine. Am I tripping this whole time? I definitely could be. Am I tripping this whole time? When I listen to it, I'm back. Look, I'm back. Am I tripping this whole time? No, hang on. I'm back. Look, I'm back. Why is it doing all that? I don't want it to be doing all that. Just one microphone. One microphone running. Monitor off. Only one selected. Oh, one mono. Right. Tracks one. Alright, let's try this. Let's turn everything else off. This way. It's not cool that there's like a million of me. I want there to just be one of me. Right, let's do that. Close that. And now 1, 2. Oh, thank God. 1, 2. 1, 2. Check. Okay, this is confusing me because now I've got this mic AUX appears to be active, but there's only one of me. 1, 2. Look, there's only one of me now. I'm happy with that. Let me just check the chat. Let me get the chat. Get chat. Hi, nice to see you. Nice for the 20 people wanting me talking. Let's just check it still. Yeah, that sounds better. Oh, thank God for that. And now, having said basically nothing, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. Trust me. It might not. I think what happened is I pushed the computer quite hard a couple of weeks ago when I did that edit. I worked really hard. Remember that a couple of days when I was awake all night, and then I did a tired mental health Monday. Oh, I'm so tired. And then the computer kept crashing after that. For the last couple of weeks, it's been crash. Crashed twice on the lead up to this, but now we're running again, and it does not appear to be crashing. Let's not tempt fate or anything. At the end of the day, I looked it up on the internet and I did a discover, and what I did the discover on was that it's got something wrong with the sound card, but no one knows exactly what it is. It's an old 2013 old computer, so there's no fixing it. People try fixing it in all the different ways, and all it does is cost them money, and it still crashes every now and then. So when I found that out, I was like, oh no, I've got so much stuff on this computer that I need to put on a hard drive just in case, and a little bit of edgy panic. Most of the important stuff's on other hard drives, but my ability to work is just purely connected to this computer, isn't it? Purely 100% locked into that. So, I might have to expedite the process of getting a new computer. Hopefully this will just keep working now tonight. Look. Hopefully you're here. Hopefully you can hear me all right. 1, 2. 1, 2, yeah. The other thing that happened this week that was really quite difficult, or last week, in the between, I've had 2 weeks no streaming. What's going on? Is basically I was getting carer's allowance because I was a carer, and then when my nan died, I stopped getting carer's allowance. I told the government, the people who give me the universal credit, I was like, I'm not getting carer's allowance anymore, and they were like, you need to tell the actual carer's allowance department themselves. So I rang them up and they were like, we don't live here anymore, just it's an email, send us, you go through the form online. I don't know why you're hiding the fact you're not talking to anyone. No relaxing vacation, quite stressed. So I didn't have to talk on the phone, I had to fill in a form. Anyway, carer stopped, done, fixed. I was worried about taking money from the government system that I didn't deserve. Carer stopped. And then a couple of months later, they were like, oh, by the way, you need to tell us about your caring allowance thing, stop. And I was like, no, I don't need to. Already done that. Got it logged on. You have this thing on my universal credit, which is like They give me a little bit of money every month, like to live on, and yeah, like, oh god, just talking about it's making me feel anxious now. So basically they were like, you can't have any money, you've got on carer's allowance. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I told them and they stopped it. And then, like, this process, it all has to be done on the little email, on the little journal log thing. And on the journal log thing that they had written themselves, it had the listed, like, carer stopped, caring stopped. So they've got, I don't know what's going on in their office. Like, they don't need me for this. But they were like, can you call this number? Can you go on this website? And I called the number, and the number was like, we don't live here anymore. You need to go on the way. And I was like, I've been here before, haven't I? And then, like, the website was the same website. And I went through and they were like, you can't go and do this because you've already carer stopped. And I was like, no, hang on. He said, I do, I deserve it. Yeah, oh God. It's been a difficult couple of years, obviously, and universal credit is not a lot of money. I just might as well just be open about it. Like, it's about £400 a month, and I don't get that if I earn money. So the other thing that happened this month is I earn money, like the fantastic support of your support, the what you call them, the little twinkly diamonds, the bits, the cheers, the patrimony. I declare all that. I write all that in, and I tell them, like, this is the money I got this month. It's all on my PayPal. Like, that's what I've had, and they take that off the money they're going to give to you because you know, that makes sense. That's fair enough. So I tell them all that, and then they're like, by the way, we're not giving you anything because your carer's allowance thing, and I go, oh no. So like, basically, they've got their own knickers in their own twist. The result for me is that I've got no money, and I've got to get on the computer and type these in, and the computer keeps crashing, and I've got to get on the computer and do. Thanks. I'm not begging for money here. I'm just telling you why I've been stressed. But thank you for your financial support, which is massive. Which, it comes through later on in the month, which I look forward, because we're going to be using it to buy a new computer. I absolutely swear we're going to have to. We're going to have to. It's not crashing right now, but if I disappear, you'll know why. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Your support is what's keeping this, going. And there's more to talk about that in a second. There's more housekeeping chat about that in a second. But yeah, so they just wanted to get this finished. I've said to them, look, you've got it. You've written to me, and in this thing you've written, this log, like your important government log, cross angry, where's our money? Like, it says it right. Like, if you scroll right down, it says it, carer stopped, because I reported it. Carer stopped. So you can't keep telling me to keep reporting it. So it's making me feel a little bit upset as well, because obviously there's an emotional attachment to carer stopped, isn't there? That's my nan died. So they were trying to, and I just said, look, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not playing with you anymore. You know that it's there on the list. I'm telling you it's on the list again, and that's the last time I'm going to tell you about it. It's making me upset. Please stop. And the result of that was, like, about a few days later, it doesn't happen immediately, this stuff. It happens immediately when they're coming after you. Like, we're not giving you any attack. Like, oh, I'm scared. Like, if they want their money or whatever they want, like, I've got to be really careful about spending money. I can't just give them money. Like, then what if I've got no, like, it just worries me. So yeah, so a week later or whatever, they've sent me a little. Oh, by the way, this is being. I'm down here on the keyboard typing. You can't see it, but I'm pretending to type like they would in their email. They're like, by the way, and I'm shaking my head because that's what they do when they're typing. God, I already feel better talking about it with you. By the way. We're handling your case, so you can consider that handled. Don't worry about it. By the way, thank you. We'll adjust your credit or something like that. We'll adjust, And I don't know what that means, but you can't adjust anything because I've had nothing. Like, this month, there's nothing to be adjusted. Like, there's none. And I'm pretty sure that what's coming is the adjustment's going to be, can you give us back all this carer's allowance? And I'm going to have to say, by the way, I've not been having it because carer stopped. So, like, I'm a bit worried that's on the horizon, but at the moment they're dealing with it, which means I don't know what it means, because they've been dealing with it for the last few months, which is how we've got into this situation. So that's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. And at the end of it, I feel a bit like I'm being punished into sort of saying, all right, just forget it. I'll cut off the government thing. I'll just earn as much as I can scratch, and you just do your thing. Like, it feels like they don't want me to be part of the system is such a an ordeal. I've already had to go through the same treadmill. It's not a treadmill, it feels more like one of those machines that you bring out your washing in to get all the water out of it that we don't use anymore. When I were a lad. So it feels like they're trying to just bring me through the system so that I don't want to be part of it anymore, and I don't. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just leaving it in their hands now. That's happening. That's that. The other thing is the computer's been crashing a lot. That's been happening a lot. And the other thing is, I've sort of been trying to taper down my medication, trying to, like, feeling like life was good. Maybe that was a mistake. Going back up to the standard dose, and then I was looking at this whole thing. Right, I was looking at this whole thing. This whole thing, I see it this way. You see it this way. I don't look at it this way a lot. I look at it in the edit a bit, but I look at it this way, not much. I'm looking over there now. I want to get this sorted. I've got high aspirations, and stutter stepping because the computer's crashing and I'm feeling bad and they're hassling me on the thing and the emails, and like, that's no good for me this week. Like, that's not. So I took a little bit of a break from it. Just like, I'm not gonna look at that. And what I did, I looked at the whole thing entire. Happy with Mental Health Monday. Going to be happy talking mental health every Monday. But I've not been doing enough good work. I've not been working hard enough on the art content. I've not been. I did really work hard on an edit, but I've not been working hard enough on, like, contacting people who I admire and want to get them on the show, creating the show, like creating a space here, sending some more emails. Someone else that I really admire, a game developer from the Stugan project, is going to be releasing their game soon. They got, I wonder if I should get this. I probably can get this on the old Ecosia. Mads Vadsholt and the Forest. I can't even spell. I mean, the computer can spell for you now, can't it? So, boom, look, I can make it happen on the internet. See, I'm getting better at this. Look, web browser there. The Forest Quartet, look at this, looks amazing. One of the developers from the Stugan project, where I went and did the filming, so they're going to be releasing their game soon. I thought, this is brilliant. It's somebody that I really admire. Got some film with them already. Can show you that if I can make the computer work to get it off that other hard drive. Can show you that, and then we can hopefully get Mads on, talk to him about his game, about his inspirations, about what's going on behind the scenes. That's something I want to do this month. So that's something I'm hopefully going to achieve. Mads doesn't know this yet because I haven't talked to him for like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't know how long it's been since I was at Stugan. It feels like a year, but I bet it's been more like 2. But I don't keep in contact with people very much. I'm not very good at that. And, these are the baby stages. Yeah, exactly. But, I'm looking at trying to push forward. I talk about it. And like, we did talk about it and made it happen last month before, didn't we? We made that interview happen. Made that, that happened. So we did that. But I need to make more of it happen more often. So that's a little, pointer for the future. Get back to Mental Health Monday, look. And that it also includes making this room a bit neater and tidier and a bit more of a set, and like making an effort on that front. So instead of making me feel like empowered and like, yeah, let's do this, I felt like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much I need to do. It's not, it needs to be better. I don't know. Maybe it was just the mood I was in. Maybe it was just the, the way that last week was, the laid back feel of your current set is nice. Yeah, it's just nothing. It's nothing. But I've seen some, like, if I want to have somebody sat with me and talking, I can't just sit them next to me here. And I also need to get another camera on the go so they can have their own little big face moments. There's a few things that I want to... this is genuine and authentic, yes, that's true, because it really is me in my actual room. And it really is a mess. You can't see this bit here in front of me, which I'm never going to show you. It's just like a mess of things. It's like one of those games where they have a tray with all the items, and then they take one item, cover it up, take one item away, and then you have to try and guess which item's missing. And you're like, oh, was it that? No, oh, I know everything that's here. Everything's useful. It's one of those sort of spaces. I know everything that's here and how useful it is and its necessity. But if anyone else were to look at it as a collage, they might just say it's a mess. Yeah. But yeah, we can crack on with this vibe. I just want to have a slightly, I want to invite people on, talk to them, and for it to be professional enough that they might look at it and say yes. So those things were undermining my own sense of confidence in my ability to broadcast. Not just the technical, but that technical was probably a good echo reflection of how I was feeling. So yeah, we just didn't do it for 2 weeks, did we? We were ready last week to do it. We were ready on Tuesday, all set up, and then someone said, but yesterday was Monday, and I was like, oh God. It took me, I couldn't go on the internet and be like, hi, I was so stupid. I'm a day late because I'm stupid. So I just thought we'll just let it cruise. Let the computer cool down. So today, after half an hour of absolute ramble, it's going to be sad when you're doing the stream on a fancy. We're not going to get a golden throw. We're never going to get that. We're not even aiming for that. Don't worry. What we're aiming for is probably like a smaller collective of like-minded people who, I don't know if the mental health thing, I don't know how it looks against the context of art. If it's a bad thing for my brand, for my brand production, trying to build this on stream. I don't know if it's a good thing to have mental health and all in the same place or with a silly name like mine because it was my gamer tag. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's how it's happening. I'm committed to the mental health. I enjoy it. You enjoy it. We like it. There's no golden thrones happening. As we develop the art thing, we'll have more interesting conversations in a nicer space. A more, you can hear what I'm saying. And then I'll actually pay for the Zooms as well. I think I've decided to pay for the Zooms. On the good advice of Capital K, who I haven't spoken to for a while actually. I'll be stuck in the back of the line at TwitchCon. I'll have to go. I've got 2 jabs, but I don't know if I'll be allowed in the country, will I? I haven't done anything criminal, so they should let me in. But yeah, I'll be. Oh God, I nearly had a panic attack driving the other day as well. Just all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, we're on this big road, and there's all these cars." It just suddenly got really real. I'm touching my chest where I could feel it. I almost had a panic attack. I was just like, just driving, just normal, and then suddenly I was like, this road and the speed and the, God, if I just, and it just felt real. Yeah, I'll have to get some T-shirts made. But yeah, so I want that art thing to push forward, and it's on me. It's on me, and you and Capital K to keep on me. And I'm not going to call him Nick. I'm going to call him Nigel. And Nigel. And oh yeah, Nigel sent me a thing which I saw today when I opened up Twitch for the first time in a week and a half. A whisper, which I haven't replied to. So hi directly in this is how I can communicate. I can't communicate in messages and whispers very well, and that is an ongoing problem with me booking guests. So this is where we're at, and today we're talking about anger. Look at that! The website was all prepared, except I had to load it because it crashed, and this is reloading each page. So hopefully this will work. But yeah, look at you gifting it. Look at that. Little presents. Oh, they're subs. Okay. I was actually thinking, what do people get in their presents? They're subs. There you go. I'm just gonna put a. Do I use a face? I'm not going to use a face. I'm just going to. Oh, now I press click the. I just look. You get the message. Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll talk about some mental health. I always should put this up before we talk about the mental health. It's important for the edit if it doesn't crash. We're waiting for your call, the Samaritans. If you're feeling, why is this guy just chatting about? Why is he just gibbling and jeffing? And I'm feeling bad. And what's this guy just doing? Just chuffing and jeffing. Well, you can call the Samaritans if you're at crisis point. It's important. They're there. That's important. That was one of my windows. Boom, that's gone now. We've got the voice quartet. We talked about that. The tips coming up later. How to cope with anger. We're using mind again this today. this today. We're using Mind again. Mind's got a really good layout on the anger thing, so I'm quite happy to use their website again. It's a good resource, mind.org. Other fancy internet dots, but it's a good resource. So there you go. How do you cope with them? I'm going to start reading through it. I know. What's he doing? He's reading again. But it's nice, isn't it? I just do a bit of reading. We do a bit of talking. I do a bit of reading. You're not allowed to read it. I do the reading. I was going to have another window with a picture that you could look at while I do the talking, but to be honest, it's working now. Let's not rock the boat any further. I've unplugged every single peripheral from that box over there. No hard drives, no video captures, none of that. I plugged just the microphone, the camera. That's all that's plugged in. We're going back to the basics. We're going to talk calmly and gently. We're not uploading to True Binaural ASMR anymore. We're uploading to our own channel, Mental Health Monday, and we haven't even done the whisper video to tell them. We haven't even done that, but it's on the list of things to do. A whisper video, they say, they'd enjoy that, even if it is sort of, I don't know. Once we get it set up, maybe we've got this other whisper video that it ended up set up over there with a whisper video, didn't it? Yeah. That's what they wanted in the first place. Well, they'll be happy about that. What is anger? We all feel angry at times. It's part of being human. Anger's normal. Like many of these feelings that we get, that we try and overcome, they're normal. It's part of the human, what do they call it? The human... There's a word for it, isn't there? Experience or something. The human... The thing, what it is to be a human. You get angry at times. You might experience it if you feel attacked, deceived, frustrated. I felt frustrated this week, absolutely frustrated, invalidated or unfairly treated. It isn't necessarily a bad emotion. See, we ascribe good and bad, don't we? But they're emotions, they're things that you feel. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes the way you behave based on your anger can be objectively bad, but the emotion itself, when you first feel it, it can sometimes be useful. For example, feeling angry about something can help us to identify problems or things that are hurting us. It's interesting, isn't it? If you feel angry about something, if you can voice what it is that's making you feel angry, maybe that's a problem that needs to be addressed. And maybe the getting angry helped you to find it, to point towards it. It can be useful in that context. It can motivate us to create change. It's interesting, before we get any deeper in this, anger is going to turn out to be a problem in lots of other contexts. So let's not think Scotty Hottie here is just saying anger's good and I like being angry. And so, you listen to the first 20 minutes and Scotty Hottie said anger was good. No, you got to stick around for the bit that's coming up when anger is a problem as well. But it can motivate us to create change, achieve our goals, and move on. That's really good, isn't it? It can motivate us. You can say, "Oh, this isn't. I felt angry." Well, there's a good example. Is this week I felt annoyed, displeased with the quality of stream. So I'm angry enough to create a change, to set up that table, to spend that little bit of money on the microphones, to maybe we'll have to do a stream talking about PCs because I don't know anything about them. Look at that, achieve our goals and to move on. Maybe if you're in a relationship and someone's made you angry, maybe moving on might be a good option. Might not, who knows? Well, some people know. It can help us to stay safe and defend ourselves in dangerous situations by giving us a burst of energy as part of our flight or fight system. I said those the wrong way around, but you're not allowed to read it, so it's just me. Anger's good for exercise. You can do more when you're angry. Definitely, yeah. I used to feel that in sport, anger fueled me to train harder, more often. in competitive, like if I felt angry in a competition, if I got beat, or well, that's when you feel angry, isn't it? When you get beat. If I got beat, then I'd be like, cross, and then think to myself, I wish I could get immediately. Not you have to have a shower and change your clothes and go home. But what you really want to do is get straight back in the gym, training, learning, pushing yourself a little more. And we might find later on in this that exercise is a good, like in balance. Oh, do you know what? Well, I've had the computer on for a good hour trying to set this up. I'm doing my automatic loser on myself, and it's 28% battery. I've got another battery prepared, but if it does just face, then you'll know why, and I'll be on it. Don't worry, it's prepared for that. But yeah, exercise and anger can have a good symbiotic relationship, I guess. When you feel angry, it can be a good thing to do exercise, and exercise can be you can drive yourself on to achieve more goals in exercise with a little bit of anger. So I'm going to agree with that. See, it isn't necessarily a bad emotion. It's just a thing, isn't it? It's just a thing. Just feeling angry. It's just a thing. It just happens, and this is important right at the start as well. It happens, and then later on, it's not happening. Like at some point, it's not happening, and in between that, there's like a drift down, isn't there? Like a wave. It comes up and it goes down. This anger wave. So whenever you're at your most angry, it's always worth remembering that you don't have to, riding that wave. You don't have to live in that anger moment forever. Do you want to make decisions here and now, maybe later? Who knows? It depends. If you're right in the moment, pushing for that extra, running up that hill, pushing for that extra mile. Maybe you do want to, face down that anger, but other times you might want to find methods to control it, which we will talk about today. We'll give you actionable tips how to control it. Yeah. It's not necessarily bad. And the fight or flight system is interesting as well, because I guess these days fighting isn't such a, there's not many situations where fighting's, but, I'm not saying, I don't want to talk about, really bad, scary situations. Hypothetical bad, scary situations. We're not going to go there. This is Mental Health Monday. We're going to keep ourselves nice and calm, and we're not going to think about the really bad, scary situations. But it's a natural, evolved thing in us to get angry at certain things, and it can help us to give us a burst of energy in extreme situations. Most people will experience episodes of anger which feel manageable and don't have a big impact on their lives. Learning healthy ways to recognise, express and deal with anger is important for our mental and physical health. They've got some other pages here, managing outbursts, long-term coping. They're all down the side, look. Well, don't you worry about looking, I'm going to go through it. But you could, at any point, if you're feeling angry, you could come and have a look here. There's some stuff to look at. You might, maybe, do you want to look at it when you're angry? Well, I don't know. If anger's a problem, you might. And that's their heading of their next. It's nice the way they've done that, isn't it? Works into the next to the next topic like that. And when you're too tired to be mad at the end of the exercise. Oh, don't knock the microphone. Careful. I feel that, yeah. Although sometimes the thing that's causing the problem, that's causing the anger, might not go away. It might reoccur, and we'll look at that. Hopefully. Remind me if we don't, because anger's only a problem when it gets out of control and harms you or other people around you. And this can happen when you regularly express your anger through unhelpful or destructive behaviour. It's interesting there, isn't it? Unhelpful. Destructive behaviour we all recognise. Someone's angry, they're cross, they've thrown the cup, get out of the way of them, they're scary, they're in a mood, I'm so cross I could just slam that door, just snap my pencil. The old, we kicked off the Healthy Gamer, who I always regularly host on this stream, even though I'm only little, always host Healthy Gamer. Kick them off to stream myself today, which is a bit naughty because they're doing the good work and I'm just little old me. But Healthy Gamer, cross, smashing the keyboard. I lost. I died on World of Warcraft. I smashed the keyboard. I've never played well. experienced World of Warcraft briefly, and didn't have enough space on the old computer to really install the whole thing, so I just binned it off. So I'm not making comment on that. I just we know that bit when you get to the destructive bit. You know that one. We've heard of that one. We know that. But unhelpful. Expressing your anger through unhelpful behaviour. That's a little bit more subtle, isn't it? A little bit more subtle, but worth thinking about. Your anger is having a negative impact on your overall mental and physical health. This is when is anger a problem? It's a problem when it's having a negative impact on your mental and physical health. Not easy to see if you're the person doing the angry. Today we're going to look at some tips for people if you know someone that's angry. I should have done this as a list, shouldn't I? You know, a proper broadcaster here. This is my thing. Proper broadcaster here. What I'd have done is I'd have written my little script enough so I could say, on tonight's show, we're going to talk this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. There's going to be tips for this. There's going to be tips for this. I'm going to pull them out in the edit and put them at the front. But what I did was I read through all this to check that it's all good stuff. It is all good stuff. Anger becomes your go-to emotion, blocking out your ability to feel other emotions. That's interesting as well, isn't it? How do you know if anger is your go-to emotion? I suppose you're angry a lot. I suppose blocks out your ability to feel other emotions. That must be really difficult, mustn't it? Feeling angry, having these other things that maybe other people are feeling, and you're not sharing in that, you're not getting that vibe, you're angry, or there's somebody that is angry, and you're all, as a group, you know, going through something different, and they're like, a bit angry. You know, a lot of my times my anger is sadness. Hopefully it'll come on to that, I think it might. Depression is rage turned inward. That's a little mantra that I think about sometimes. Depression is rage turned inward. Yeah. And angry at the state of the world. Yeah, you know, I've been angry at the state of the world this last week and a half. There's been some positives. We're not going to use Mental Health Monday for my political high horsery, but there's been some positives. Some good things have happened in the world this last couple of weeks. Some bad things too. That's always going to be the way, isn't it? It's always going to be the way. Well, in our lifetimes, we're not going to, it seems, be able to affect such drastic change to fix all the injustices. Maybe that's something we have to try and accept, you know, and to work in the small ways, spreading the good feelings as good as we can, as best we can. Hopefully getting out there into the world a little more now. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit in a bit, can't we, at the end? Because I've got to get through all this anger stuff for the actual episode, but I don't know if I want to go out into the world right now. You're lucky in America. Your numbers are going down. You've all had your vaccine. You know, that's going well. COVID numbers down, vaccines going up. Good. In England, our vaccine numbers are not gone quite as quick as they maybe should have, and our COVID number is slightly going up again, a little bit more than it should do. And everyone's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not in the pub." Trump's doing rallies again. Oh God. Oh God, we could talk about that. My uncle, oh, you wouldn't believe it. My uncle, little time out, big face. If you're feeling angry, you're gonna have to wait a minute. You'll enjoy that. My uncle, God bless him, who I love, he's in his 80s, right? He's English, like I'm English, but he's in his 80s and he's got the internet. Now he's like these slightly older generation. He's not grown up with the internet, but he's got it. He can use it. I wonder how old Trump is, actually. But he's he can use it. Now, for some reason, there's a lot, there's a lot of media produced, isn't there, on this. See, Trump's similar age, isn't he? Similar age. I get this feeling like my uncle's a good person, right? He's never been he's a Catholic. He believes in like good values, yeah. So for some reason though, I'm like, a few years ago it started happening that he'd say some things. And I'm like, oh, where have you heard that? I know these things because I'm on the internet. I'm looking at Trump. I'm seeing the memes. I've got the Twitter. Where have you heard about that? Like what? Where have you heard? Like he mentioned something about like what was it that I can't even mention these things on the old Twitch, can I? Because they'll kick us off. One of these conspiracy theories, like the QAnon or the 4chan thing. He mentioned, and I was like, how do you know? No, what it was TikTok. He talked about TikTok and the Chinese owning TikTok, and I was like, this all sounds a bit like some conspiracy theory or something. And it was like, yeah, and I was like, I don't think we need to worry, Uncle, about the Chinese owning TikTok because neither you or I are going to be making videos of us doing our little dance. So I don't think it's really a big concern. Like, I don't know what you've been looking at on the internet, but somehow this unfiltered data that maybe some of us that have used the internet a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, to have grown up with the internet a bit more, to have seen it a bit more deeper, to have like, you know, seen how memes have originated, to have thought more deeply about certain things, to have seen the cons, uh, there are so many interesting things that have happened on the internet, aren't there, over the years? But we've seen some of these things happen and go off and change and evolve, and you know, maybe have a bit more common sense about which piece of media we automatically believe or understand to be true, or take as a starting point and then go on and question. Whereas I feel like my 80-year-old uncle, he's got definitely down a certain path of media, definitely got down it, but whether it's the right path and a good, like I know, and then he's coming out with some things, and I'm like, well, because we talked about Donald Trump, like he's told me that Donald Trump's going to be back in power. Donald Trump's going to be back in power. And I'm like, how does this, why, like, it baffles me that somebody that is in the UK should be like, this is how big the media thing, the Donald Trump media thing, the QAnon media thing, because I think this whole QAnon thing is like a deliberate, like, muddying of the waters so that everyone can be as confused as possible, even the people that seem to be supporting you. And like, if there's so much conspiracy out there that is ridiculous, eventually all of it becomes ridiculous, even the stuff that's true. I don't know, it just feels like this weird muddying of the waters. And I said to my uncle, my favourite one about this, I said to my uncle, if this QAnon thing, if that was really true, yeah, why on earth would the whistleblower use a platform like 4chan, which in itself is known as like the garbage bin of the internet? Like, it's known for the the most rubbish, the worst things, anything. Like, some roses grow from manure. I can appreciate this, but why on earth, if you had a really serious, important, world-changing view that was, you know, something that was the reality that was underpinning all this stuff, and it was you know, it was going to change people's minds and it was going to open their eyes, why on earth would you present it on the most you know, on a platform that is ridiculed, is the paradigm of ridicule? Like, why would you present it on such a weak foundation? And how would people who choose to believe it be perceived? And I ask these questions. But anyway, this is, yeah, Trump and the size of that, the media, it's like a pumping of, like, Donald Trump himself. I should be careful what I say in case Bill Gates and everyone comes and crashes through the window. It's supposed to be Mental Health Monday. We'll get back to that in a minute. But this will make some people angry. Donald Trump himself, before he got into power, like before he was like Donald Trump the president, when he was Donald Trump the Tower, yeah, before the TV show, that when he was Donald Trump the Tower, before that, his concept for this tower was like, I've got quite a big name in business, got quite a big name, Trump. Like, people know me. I'm quite a big deal, right? The people think that I'm a rich guy, yeah. And like, how did that happen? Because Donald Trump used to bring up the National Enquirer. Hello, National Enquirer. It's not considered to be top dollar news, not considered to be highbrow news, but it's the National Enquirer, and they'll listen. I'm Donald Trump, and I'm going to be caught in this restaurant with this woman, and this week's scandal is Donald Trump this, and Donald Trump. He would write those stories for them to present to the, like, in the magazine media. Donald Trump stories, rich man, Donald Trump, world's rich man. So he got this name, Trump. My name means something. He created that himself through media, through pumping of media, and he used it to sell. Like, instead of having this big building that he owned himself, he sold the idea to somebody else to build the building. Somebody else is going to provide this. Somebody else, I'm going to borrow the money from here, and then you all built it, and it's made of gold. And then we're going to sell all the houses in it, the little apartments, and people can come and visit. It's going to have Trump on it. Everything, like, all created out of pumping. I'm a rich man, hot air. Like, pumping. I'm a rich man, hot air. So he knew the value and power of that pumping media. Just gossip, shite. I swore, shite. But just gossip, and it doesn't matter. His name, being relevant, having your name. People know that he's a rich man. That's the first concept he sold. He didn't even have to sell it. He kept doing things, provocative things. Creating this image. Oh, there's a photographer there. That's because I paid for the photographer and I've sent those pictures to the press myself. They do that now, don't they? That's how anyway. So he's used all that to become president. And part of it, what's gone along with this, is this huge pumping of media, to the point where my 80-year-old uncle in the UK, on his Twitter feed, it's all Donald Trump and all this business, and it's troubling him and it's concerning him. 19 conspiracy theories, I can't even get my words. 19 of those conspiracy theorist believers are running in 2022. So it works for that. There's like an overspill. Donald Trump gets the main... Like, 'cause it doesn't matter whether you believe the theory or not. It matters whether you've heard the name Donald Trump in the news this week, and you have or have not heard the name Ted Cruz or John Kerry or Barack Obama or whoever else. It matters about whose name you're hearing most, really, to Donald Trump. And these people, you're hearing their names as well now. So the conspiracy theorist believers, they're running to. The Democrats are back at brunch and not paying attention. The Democrats won't get rid of the filibuster. That's where someone talks for ages like me and never gets to the point that we're supposed to be doing. So nothing will get done. One of the problems with the American system, like with all democratic systems, I say problems, Scotty is getting political on Mental Health Monday now, but is that it's designed so nothing gets done, because you each take it in turn, don't you? You have your go for a bit, and you pull it this way a bit, and then after a while, some other people get cross enough to put together a big campaign, spend a bit of money, they have their turn, and then after a while they pulled it that way, and the other people are cross enough to say it's their side's getting more, and they would put it this way, and it's just gently swinging between the two, isn't it? It's never quite getting anywhere. I don't know about losses in midterms, and I don't know what gerrymander does mean, and create vote the vote restriction. I heard about that. That seems a bad thing, doesn't it? Vote restriction laws. And Trump could win again in 2024. There goes democracy. Well, yeah, democracy is funny, isn't it? Because we had this thing this week, this last week in my country, where there was a bit of a call for, I've been, oh God, I'd love to live in Canada myself. It sounds nice up there. It does. Maple syrup, all the maple syrup you can drink. People riding around on horses with big logs of wood. Not national stereotyping, but all the maple syrup you can drink. That sounds nice. The democracy. So they were saying, like, oh, it's been bad with the old COVID. Can we have a little look at what's been going on in the old government? Can we have an inquiry? Can we talk to you and you tell us? And I was like, is that the system? Is it? We've got a little desk. Got a few of us here. Line you up one by one. You can come in. We had Dominic Cummings, this guy. He was brought before. He was saying some things. He was, involved in the government. And he got the sack and all this. And I was like, hang on, this isn't a good system. What we really need here is they should have had cameras. And they should have had, like, if they've been sending these letters and these emails, we should just be able to see the emails. The inquiry board shouldn't be saying, so what did you say on 6th of June? What did you say? When did you want to do lockdown? What did he say to you? It should be like, oh, just check my camera. I was wearing my camera. I'm on stream right now, yeah? Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and all his cronies and all the people that are doing these things in these closed door sessions, they should be on stream. Like, it should be that simple. Like, and then we could all say what we think. Not, I've hidden it and it's quiet and it's mine and it's secret. With a camera in the street so that you can see me when I go and get my chips. You can see me when I go and get my chips. I can't see Boris Johnson when he has his. So that's what I think they should do. And Boris and Trump are the same person. They're essentially, part of the same politics, aren't they? Or I would say, in a very similar way, they turn their, they seem to turn their political, their politics is formed out of what's kind of popular that will get them the most push. So, do I want to? If he's eating chips, I want to know. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what kind of chips he's eating. Whether he's eating really expensive chips, like, because a lot of the time he won't be eating his chips on his own. He'll be eating it with somebody who is the head of some business that does houses, and they'll be giving him these expensive chips with a little envelope underneath. I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see that. I think Donald Trump, I think by now it's about time that we had a camera in the White House. There should be some rooms that are secret, shouldn't there? Some war business, maybe some war, but maybe some of it should be made more, open. Maybe we should know about how much money, and should know about how much money they spend on all the guns. But obviously there are some national security issues, aren't there? That can be discussed. But in general, day to day, if we elect someone, if we get together and elect them, in today's world, in general, so that when we have these inquiries later on, because they're always doing it, things go wrong, don't they? And then they're all like, oh, let's have an inquiry. Let's look back and find out what happened. And they did that with the old, I don't know what happened in Watergate. I know there was a set, they had him on tape, didn't they, talking on the phone. That's what blew it all open, didn't they? Well, why didn't you have, after that, they should have learned, why don't we record all the fucking calls then? I swore. Why don't we record everything? We can these days, it's cheap and easily available. I'm streaming. Why don't we just get our politicians to... My vaccine minister, my local MP, Nadeem Zahawi, why is he not on stream doing his... He doesn't have to answer people and constantly be going. Maybe chat could be going. Maybe his assistant could be reading out the pertinent chat. But, why are they not just live and accessible? And not even accessible, like I say, just accountable. Accountable. So that if you want to know what they're doing, you can have a look. That's all. Should be, if you want to be a politician, if you want to be the Prime Minister, I'm not saying everyone has a camera in their home, but if you want to do that job and you want to be accountable to the people, then you should accept it, shouldn't you? You should revel in it. You should be like, great, that'll be good. In fact, it'll be useful to me because then everyone can see what I'm doing and everyone can tell me if they think I'm doing a good job, and I can use that information to do a better job. And the reason you can't see it is because you'd be really disappointed. In all of them, any of them, even the good ones, you'd really be disappointed, wouldn't you? You'd be disappointed overall. They're worried that you'd be disappointed, so they wouldn't let you have a look, would they? And that makes me angry. So, let's get back. The problem is we don't have the same information, yeah. I don't know what kind of information they think they've got, but there are some pretty straightforward things that seems we're getting there in some ways, but we're not doing political. If you want me to rip apart the political system now's not the time. I've seen through it. I've seen the angles. Yeah, I've seen the angles. Oh, but we're down the road now, aren't we? People have made their votes. The dice have been cast. We're on a sort of inevitable fall. Not really, not in America, are you? You've got what's his name now? Joe Biden. He's one of the. At least he's on the right team, isn't he? At least he's on the right team. Yeah. Look, we're in touch with our anger now, and we're going to go back to the web browser, and we're going to talk about the anger. It's funny, the computer hasn't crashed. In order through this, I shouldn't tempt it. I don't care about tempting it. It's crashed so often in there's no tempting it now. We're way beyond that. But it's funny that it hasn't. So that's been good. Anger can become your go-to emotion. It can block out your ability to feel other emotions. This is what I wanted to do. So cut. Let's just edit that. Cut. Anger becomes your go-to emotion, and if it does, this is what's interesting about it. If anger does become your go-to emotion, do you know what? I was going to pepper this with loads of sort of stories from my knowledge of anger, but I don't think it's fair to the people who have been angry to bring up the times they were angry and to not give a balanced view of their personalities. But some people get angry quite often. And what it does, like we said, it blocks out their ability to feel other emotions, which can be difficult. If it's you that's doing it, you might not get to experience these things the same time as other people get to, same way. It's a really interesting thing, isn't it? That if that's your first port of call, then it's kind of like putting a lid on some other things that might be quite nice. I thought I might have had something more to say there, but maybe I've said it. Anger's a problem when you haven't developed healthy ways to express your anger. That's cool. Maybe it's something we need to learn. Maybe there are good ways and bad ways. It feels like there's a ball of fire in the middle of my chest that blurts its way straight out of my mouth and it burns the people around me. With the old bad words. What is unhelpful angry behaviour? See, I knew we were going to get to this. It's come up quite quickly, hasn't it? Unhelpful. How you behave when you're angry depends on how well you're able to identify and cope with your feelings and how you've learned to express them. Not everyone expresses anger in the same way. So these are unhelpful ones. These are bad ones. Outward aggression and violence. Top of the list. Boom. It's got it in bold. You're not supposed to be looking at it. Naughty. Such as shouting, swearing, slamming doors, hitting or throwing things, being physically violent. Very naughty. That's the bad one. That's the really bad one. Or verbally abusive. Still quite bad. Pretty up there on the bad. These are the top three. And threatening towards others. Pretty bad. Naughty. Don't like them. But they're all bad, aren't they? They're all bad. What's interesting about them, if you think about most of those, if not all of those examples, then when there's other people around, they don't respond well to those sort of cues, do they? Like if you're thinking, oh, I'm really angry, and you do one of these things on that list, and there's somebody there, it's not often that they're like, oh, would you like a bit of cake? They might try and calm you down, maybe. Maybe some people are scared, try and calm you down. But usually, if you're shouting at someone, they're not often, in my experience, not often going to reply with nice things. They're probably going to mirror that back, aren't they? Get shouty themselves. So they're all bad, and the mirror effect is, the repercussive effect is more bad. It's like an echo chamber of bad. We don't like that. This is unhelpful angry behaviour. And if, this is effectively a podcast, isn't it, about anger. So if you're watching this and you recognise those things, as everyone, we've all felt angry enough to chuff him or smash the keyboard. If you're recognising those, and I'm not going to be too, I shouldn't be too, jokey about physical violence. Shouldn't joke about physical violence. Like some of that can get really bad, and later on there'll be some phone numbers, some helplines, some serious news about the physically violent bit, which I won't try and make jokes about, of course. But we're going to try and deal with that today, so that's good. You've got recognition of it. These are things that I want to fucking chuff him, I'll deal with. Straight to the anger first, and then we're going to let that anger pass. Fucking chuff him well. We're going to let that pass, and we're going to look at the other things that we want to open up, the other ideas, the other feelings, that once the anger's passed, we can not do these things. Another bad thing is inward aggression, which personally, I know about all these things. We're humans, we know about them all. But yeah, this week I've been, telling myself that I hate myself, or that I don't feel up to the level of quality of what I, wanted to, that's been happening. That's been happening this week. Denying yourself basic needs. You might not recognise this, but being angry might make you then not eat things that make you happy, or not do things that make you happy. You might start to, this is like it's nice that it's brought this up in just a little thing, and I can talk more deeply about it. Anger is depression is rage turned inward. We mentioned that as like a thing earlier. So telling yourself that you hate yourself is clear. I don't feel that's depression is rage turned inward, rage on yourself. But denying your basic needs and cutting yourself off from the world and self-harming, which gets its own little thing, these are flags. These are like symptoms of the depression being a rage turned inward. So it's like a link, it's a chain, isn't it? You've got the rage to start with. I should do big face, shouldn't I? You've got the rage to start with, the thing that's made you angry, your anger. It's been turned inward. So now you're angry at yourself. That is now a depression. So now you're feeling depressed. You're 1, 2, 3 steps away from this thing. See, we need a set, don't we? I need to be able to hold things up and put them in the. I can do it with editing, can't I? I can make a magic thing on the screen. You got this thing that's made you angry. We're angry at ourselves. We're depressed. That's gone by the wayside. But now we're depressed, and the knock-on effect, like a symptom of that depression, is like cutting yourself off from the world, not eating the things you like, punishing yourself, and moving on to self-harming. I should do an episode on self-harming because I've done self-harming. I know what that's like. You feel like you're in control of certain things, so there's a power struggle involved. But again, like, so you've gone all this way down now, maybe to cutting yourself, not cutting yourself to kill yourself, not doing that. Just like, maybe you don't know why you're cutting yourself. Maybe you don't know why you're cutting yourself. I hope that we can reach somebody here that doesn't know why they're cutting themselves. That would be if all of this turned out to help this one person that didn't know why they're cutting, then we've done a good thing, because that can move on to other bad things. So, like, you don't know, and what it is, we've got to, so you unravel it. It's this depression. But the depression is because of the rage turned in. So it's come from the anger all the way back up the chain, and unwrapping that once you're at the point of the cutting yourself, being able to unravel all that and say, this cutting myself might be making me feel better. It might, but it might be a symptom of something else that is saying, like, this is a point where we should stop now and unravel this and work back. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to say, look, this thing and that thing are connected. They are. Unless I fix that thing, this thing is useless, really, because it's gonna. I don't know. This becomes useless when you know it's that thing. So we can put this away. That was me closing the knife, like putting it away, and this is going to get me demonetized on YouTube as well. We can focus on that thing, the anger. That's what we're going to talk about today. You feel you don't deserve proper care, sleep, or downtime. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about running yourself down, because everything else is more important. If you recognise that feeling, that might be symptomatic of a depression caused by anger. Might be. We're not going to fix everyone, are we? But hopefully this is going to reach somebody that understands that. And as I say, the battery. So let's go web browser, and I will fix this battery right now. It's getting warm in the old room, I'll tell you that. Getting warm in the old room. Maybe that's making the computer. Well, the computer hasn't crashed, has it? It's just the battery today. So. Warm in the old room. Oosh. Now, you won't be able to see me anymore, but it should just magically pop up now, shouldn't it? Come on, little camera. I'll turn you off and on. Realistically, it should just magically pop up, but if you're having trouble, I can turn this closed. Come on, camera. Come on, little camera. Come on. Yes, boom. See? Told you. Knew it'd work. Right. Yeah, so we had a really serious point. I think we managed to cover it. Yeah, I feel instinctively that we're not going to manage to cover the entire spectrum of anger today, but we're going to push, because I'm not going to just open this can of worms and then, we'll talk about it next week. No, we'll push. It's getting a bit hot in the room as well, but we'll push. Mine is nice to see. Yeah. I'm doing that thing exactly right now as well, aren't I? I'm trying to say these things that are worries to me, that are like issues, that are stumbling blocks, we're going to put them away. We're going to focus on what's good for you. Yeah, like, if you recognise that, like, you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. But you need to be able to have a balance, as we are learning through stream, aren't we? You need to be able to have a balance, because if you keep giving, eventually, if you keep every time the bucket goes to the well, someday the bottom will drop out, isn't it? You can't keep going to the well. Sometimes you need a bit of R&R. Yeah. But we're saying that self-harming, isolating yourself can stem from the anger. If you can't figure out that it's the anger, what it is that you're angry about, find out a way to not be angry about it. Find out a way to not be angry about it. Then these other things are going to be difficult. So non-violent, or these are the bad ways that anger comes out. These are the bad ways it comes out. Non-violent or passive aggression, such as ignoring people. I love a bit of the old passive aggression. Now people think, let's get the old big face out. People think passive aggression is like doing something. Like, they get confused. Like, I put salt in her tea and she didn't notice. So passive aggression. It's not. That's active aggression. You're actually doing something. Passive aggression is passive. It means not doing something. Not doing something, but deliberately not doing it when you know it's to the detriment of you or somebody else, or it'll make someone else angry, or not doing something. Passive aggression. So your anger, your aggression, your feelings are unable to express themselves in verbal or physical, as we'll come to, exercise we talked about earlier. It's a good point that we talked about it earlier, because at least if people want to click in and click out, maybe not, they've got a tip. Oh, it was exercise. Oh, it turns out it was exercise. No, wait. We've got them, ignoring them, trying not to say something hurtful, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. And we'll talk, this is going to come up, is moving away from the thing that makes you angry, so you don't sort of do that. Yeah, absolutely. But deliberately not to, like, let's say, for example, someone's looking for their keys. You know where the keys are. They're, where are the chuffing keys? I had them about 20 minutes ago, chuffing keys. And you're like, well, buff them. Let them look. I know where the keys are. Let them look. That's passive aggression, because you're deliberately not doing something that... the thing you're deliberately not doing it to make, being aggressive. It's a passive aggressive act. Like, yeah, it's kind of evil, isn't it? It's kind of evil. It's deliberately doing things, or but when we say evil, it's natural human. When you're angry, if someone's just pushed past you in the queue, divhead, and they push past you and they've knocked your things on the floor, and when they've done it, they've accidentally dropped their phone. Right, and you just go, oh, well, somebody's lost their phone. I've got my oranges. Maybe someone could call out to that person and say, oh, hey, you lost your phone. But they just knocked me over and have been a right dickhead, so let's leave it. It all ties in, doesn't it? So we can all be a bit evil, maybe, I should say. Am I saying that? No, I don't know if I should say that. But, it's deliberately doing things badly late or at the last minute, and being sarcastic and sulky, whilst not saying anything explicitly aggressive or angry. So deliberately being uncooperative, or not doing the thing that is expected of you, that you actually do normally in a routine. This can then lead down a road kind of being like a personality trait, or something that people say you are like, even though you're not like that. You just appear to be like that around them because they make you feel like this, and then you react like that. And it can be difficult as well, though, to express I think this is part of the passive aggressive package, is that it can be difficult to express yourself in certain situations, and a little bit of control you have is whether you do or don't do something. I think a lot of kids can end up doing passive aggressive things, or not doing them. Because it's their experiment with control. My dog, maybe, deliberately doesn't get back on the lead when I tell him to. Come on then, let's go. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Maybe my dog's passive aggressive sometimes. But actually, it's on the list of bad things that, it's not cooperative, is it? It's not helpful. And again, if we look over these bad things, the outward aggression makes if there's someone else in the room and you're being outwardly aggressive, it makes them unhappy, doesn't it? Makes them unhappy. Maybe they react badly with the old aggression. It provokes the same feeling in them as you've got in you. Oh, angry. Inward aggression, making you feel bad, thing making you feel bad. You do the thing. You probably end up saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm so stupid for doing this thing that makes me feel bad. Why have I done it?" Because you're beating yourself up through the inward aggression system. So it creates more of the bad feeling. The non-violent, the passive, fighting my superhero-powered natural sarcastic abilities is the struggle. Yeah, it's okay to be sarcastic. It's okay to be sarcastic. But if you're doing it as a package of not saying anything explicitly aggressive or angry, but feeling really angry when you do it, people see through that even, don't they, in the reality? And you can say, "Oh, no, I didn't say anything nasty." But they go, "Oh, you did. It was the way you said it." If that's the thing that's happening, it's okay to be comedically sarcastic and people get the joke. We'll come on to that. But yeah, this refusal to do tasks, being obtuse, being difficult, doing things late or at the last minute, never quite, just doing things to the line so no one can actually say that you did something wrong, but really, you're getting at them. These things, again, if people see you doing that, they're not going to be like, "Clap, clap, clap, can I come around your house for a hot dog?" They're going to say, "Look, mate, pull your socks up. It's annoying me because I'm trying to do my best and you don't appear to be doing yours." So it generates this negative vibe again, doesn't it? All the bad ones make more bad ones. Yeah. My brain goes blank and I absent-mindedly, this is quotes, but I don't know who said it. I'm saying it. My brain goes blank and I absent-mindedly release my anger through physical violence towards myself or objects around me. I don't realise how destructive I've been until immediately afterwards. Well, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there. Smashed up our thing. Smashed up somebody else's thing. Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? I assume. Got cross. Been destructive. If you find you express your anger through outward aggression and violence, this can be extremely frightening and damaging. Yeah, we've basically said that, haven't we? But yeah, it's a good point they're making, especially children. And I wasn't thinking about it in that context because usually I've been the child. The other people have been angry and I've been like, "Oh, I'm a bit scared." But yeah, it can have serious consequences. If you have children in your life and around you, then think carefully about how your anger is impacting on them. I'd absolutely alight on that. It could mean you lose your family, job, and get into trouble with the law. God, that would make you angry as well, wouldn't it? A lot of these people who are in this negative spiral of losing these things are feeling angry. In this case, it's very important to seek treatment and support. At the bottom there is going to be treatment and support. It's over. I'm trying to deal with two windows there. Look, treatment and support. It's listed on this. If you want to jump straight to that, mind.org. I've been talking for about an hour and a half, so you're used to it by now, aren't you? So you don't need to jump straight to that. You're all right with me going on, and we'll get there in a minute. Children need you to role model how to do. Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. Being role models, we're all role models, whether you like it or not. Especially if you're around children. If people see you, then you're some kind of role model to someone. I think it's important to. I've forgotten which cup was which then. I think we're drinking the cold tea now. If you're never outwardly violent or aggressive and never even raise your voice, you might still recognise some of these angry behaviours and feel they're a problem for you. For example, turning your anger inwards, self-harm, denying yourself food. Those are really, I really do want to bring those highlighted. So I think we should do a whole chapter on self-harm, but whole episode. But it is a bit bleak. It's all a bit bleak, isn't it? But we're going to make sure to, go, I'll just grab the cold tea, that's fine. No, it is actually fine. I don't want to move away from stream and leave it running and just be like, "Oh, that's fine, I'll just walk off." No, that's not happening. We're here till I'm finished and then I'll go and get a cup of tea at the end. God, there's loads of it, isn't there? We're not going to finish. We're not. I'm not. Because if I keep talking like this, we're not going to. Symptoms, causes, managing out. So we're going to break this down, aren't we? We're going to do anger next week as well. We're absolutely going to do anger next week. So what we'll do now is we'll do treatment and then maybe friends and family, contacts, and we'll come to these others causes. We'll briefly bang over these and see if we, if we need to do a full episode on these. When I get angry, it's all different for everyone when you get angry, but threatened, attacked, frustrated, powerless, invalidated, untreated. Yeah, we could talk about this, couldn't we? We could talk about this a bit more deeply. Childhood and upbringing, absolutely. Yeah, causes. So we're going to talk about that next week. Managing outbursts, we're going to talk about that next week. Long-term coping, treatment and support. So let's have a look at some treatment and support, because if you come here for Mental Health Monday and I'm talking about anger and you're recognising it, everyone does it. If you're recognising anger, then I want to make sure we cover this part, treatment, because it's, and I had this thought up in my brain, I didn't put a script on it, but isn't it interesting to think, did the big, oh wait, you know what? Am I out of sync? 1, 2. I don't appear to be that bad. I set the sync. I set the sync, didn't I? Let me do that. Because we were having all those mic troubles, I went to advanced audio properties and I turned off the 260 millisecond mic. Oh no, look. No, I did. I turned it off. So I need to put that back on, don't I? Is this one mic 260? Because Nigel gave me the stats and I turned it off because I thought it was breaking it. Right, that'll work brilliantly in the edit. Yeah, isn't it interesting to think that you feel angry, right? You feel angry. Whatever, we haven't managed to fix all the problems in the world, but you feel angry. It's a human emotion. It's a natural thing. We mentioned earlier about how things, all the different vibes you get, all the different feelings, they're here and then they're gone. They're not always here. You don't live in that moment forever. They pass. Sometimes you look back on things that make you angry again, then it passes. Everything's waves. So that's interesting to note. But it in itself, anger, can be considered such an issue, problem, such a cause for concern, that there is actually treatment available, like treatment. And when I say treatment, I mean like, people you can talk to, things you can do. It's, I'm feeling happy today. Well, there's a treatment for that. No, it's just a human emotion. People don't walk through life expecting there to be an ointment that you can put on your anger. They don't really expect that. And if they do discover something, it's usually alcohol or other forms of substances that they use to treat their anger. It's like they didn't get prescribed that. They just found it themselves and used it. Maybe it makes them worse. Maybe it makes them better. Who knows? But it turns out not alcohol, but there's some treatments. I just thought I'd have to do that in big face because I thought that was a really interesting concept, even though it seems like a get the chat moving. There we go. Find the chat, move it, and it goes. Hi Nigel, thank you for your messages. Thank you. I've mentioned earlier that we're having an absolute nightmare of a couple of weeks in terms of computer working, and in terms of things, not really bad things happening in my life, but stressful. What's the word? Administration issues. And the computer keeps crashing. It hasn't crashed tonight. It hasn't crashed. It crashed 2 times before we got on live on stream. And then during this whole process, as I'm saying, I'm expecting the screen just to turn blue and just it go. But so far it's holding out. It's holding out. So it's lovely to have you with me. And we're talking about anger, but we aren't going to get through the whole shebang. There's so much of it. And I talk, so I just jabble on, don't I? So we're going to come back to this. In fact, we might come back to it in the week, or we might, come back to it next Monday. But I want to get onto art as well. I want to do some art. I really want to do some art stuff this week. Make sure we're pointed squarely at that. Make sure it's clear. Like if you drop into this stream, you know that we're doing mental health. But if you drop into this stream, you know that we're squarely pointed at art. That we talk about games and art. That's what I wanted to make sure we achieve this next month. To make it clear, because I just have a million ideas. I was going to do a video about baked beans. I'm talking about it now. Let's do big face. I'll tell you about baked beans. So this week has been stressful. It's really nice to be here and it be working and to be talking with you. It is much nicer. I've been looking forward to it, just not being able to do it. But baked beans. So I'm pretty sure that Snips won't know the way we feel about it. Nigel, you are in the UK, aren't you? I'm assuming. I don't know why I assume that, but I do. And you know what baked beans mean. When I say mean, culturally, like they're like interwoven in the fabric of our society. Like, the chat's gone quiet now. I'm talking directly to the people. But they are baked beans come in this tin. It's just a simple thing, and I know that Snips is going to be thinking, what the chuffing chuff is he going on about? See, they've got it at their barbecues. Right? But yeah, see, right. I'll just give you. This is a little. Why are they all these days? A tangent on a tangent here. Capital K would love this. These days, people don't say all the letters properly now. They don't say the T's, they say D's. They're little, and they don't like the G's anymore. Talking. They don't like talking. They don't like all the letters. They're fed up with some of them. Pork, you see, look, beans means, you see, you've got the two exact, this is exactly the cultural clash that for Nigel, beans means Heinz. It means a particular tin, a particular colour of brand of tin, and inside the same uniform beans that you've eaten the entirety of your life. No change within that can. It means tea time when you're 4 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. In America, it means a side dish that you might have like with the chicken or the barbecue, but it doesn't. It's not this staple food of the working class. And yet, it originated through American culture. It was the mass production. You see, I've done a little bit of research, but I don't know everything about beans. But it was because of this mass production, these tins, like America was able to bring this goods to the UK. And it's got this like social, cultural history story of like it's just a bean. I'm pretty sure someone else would have done a documentary. They haven't done a YouTube. Oh, I'm telling all my secrets now. If you're out there and you're watching this, you'll be like, oh, quick, make a YouTube video about baked beans. Well, you'll probably beat me to it, won't you? And that will make me feel bad. But there's the concept. That's what I want to do. Pork back, tons of them. Like, oh, we don't. They used to put a piece of pork in the actual tin of baked beans back in the 40s. But me and Nigel, we're not having bits of pork in our. If we find a bit of pork in our baked beans, we're like, oh, there's something wrong there. But yeah, I wanted to make this video, this evocative video about what it means, because it's just not just foods. When you're in how to explain it, and I want to explain it in a nice script that I've thought about, what it means to eat baked beans, what it feels like to be British, and especially British, and to experience this thing, this part of this culture. I wanted to make a little video about it. It's not got anything to do with art and games or mental health, but I really want to do it. That's on my mind. And then I think about all the work I put in on the last thing that I put a load of work in on, and like, I don't know if it matters if it's a bad thing that I work hard. I just want to do this. So anyway, I really need to do a lot of art content if I'm allowed to do the baked beans video. Because if the baked beans is culture, it's vibe, but it's cooking and it's beans and it's history. So, and if I talk about that all week on stream, then I've already talked enough about it. But we need to do a lot of art to make sure that if someone says, what do you do? I say, I'm a streamer. My stream is about video games and art and see fish and chips. And this is the other thing I want to do. I see people on the old YouTube doing the old, I'm American and I'm reacting to something British. But I'm British, so I think American should tell me things that I have no concept of, and then I should look them up on the old YouTube and be like, oh, this is interesting, I'll tell you what I think. British person reacts to American culture. But that has to wait. That has to wait. We can't do that because we've got to be an art. I mean, I want to make sure that we're an art, games, culture stream. That's what we're doing, and that Mental Health Monday is always here on a Monday. So, yeah, exactly. You listen to me talk. Fair enough. That's good, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video because I'm going to make that damn video. I don't care if it gets 5 views, 40 views, 400 views, or in the world of worlds, if YouTube will not decide to promote it. I mean, who's going to be even looking for the cultural history of beans? Nobody offered you beans. Well, yeah, no, it's a different thing in the UK. I will have to explain it in video format, but it's a ubiquitous canned good. You can't have grown up in the UK and not have sat in front of a plate of baked beans on toast. You can't have done that. It has to have happened to you. You just and it's so cultural, even though it's just a tinned good. Yeah. Anyway, look, I've talked enough about beans. I've talked enough about them. We're going to make a video about it. That's on the back burner. What help's available? How have I gone from that to that? How has that happened? How have I gone from that to that? How have I... We're supposed to be talking about... And I don't even know. If you're angry and you've come here and you've thought, well, the things he's saying make sense to me. I understand about these anger feelings. We're going to be looking about at the symptoms, the causes, managing outbursts and long-term coping next week. But today we're going to finish on treatment and support and a little look at useful contacts and family and friends. We'll probably do useful contacts because I've talked for an hour and a half, way too long. There's so much information. So please don't be angry at me talking about beans for that little adjunct. They're looking forward to the beans video now. That's what I get patronised for. That's where your patron money goes. I'm going to make I've got this idea about getting the beans on the toast and getting my camera and getting it on I've got this skateboard thing and it holds the camera. It's got wheels on it and I'm going to roll it along towards the beans on toast, and the shot, you're going to have these beans on toast coming towards you. Oh, it's going to look gorgeous. I've already got these, B-roll idea. I'm going to spend a good 2 days shooting the beans off the toast. But first I've got to do a whole video about beans on toast. I could even do it in a whisper. I could do the whole voiceover in a whisper, ear to ear, do it nicely, present it on the ASMR channel. Yep, absolutely, if you want that. I'm happy to do that. What does it matter whether I do it in a normal voice or a whisper? In normal voice, I hope that it might get YouTube popularity. And we're talking about the beans again. Aren't we? This is making the people angry. And they're supposed to be finding support. Talking therapy and counselling. I made this big point on Big Face earlier, so I'll edit nicely into this. Isn't it amazing there are actually therapies and counselling for anger? It's a human emotion. It's something natural. You don't go to counselling because you feel happy or surprised. But you can for anger, and it is surprising and it might make you happy. So boom. You see the way I say that was natural mental agility, that was mental agility. Anger management programs. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you. We're going to manage that anger together. You can click on the button and it will take you to this whole thing at the treatment and support section, which we're in. So I didn't need to click on the button. I need to just scroll down one by one, thanks. Help for abusive and violent behaviour is really serious, and I shouldn't make a joke about it, so there's no joke for that one. Oh God, the beans has made me feel funny. Thinking about the beans has made me contextually it's bad. Also, I'm going to edit everything about beans out of this episode of Mental Health Monday, so let's hope I don't talk about it anymore. If I will laugh about it because no one will know what we're laughing about. Okay, yeah, fair play. You do want to see the can. I can see that's a really fair point. Big face. I think that's a good point. Well made. Nigel doesn't have to. Nigel can either look in his cupboard because he will actually have a can in his cupboard, absolutely guarantee it, or alternatively, he can just use his imagination because this will appear, bing, in his imagination, just like this. Or Amazon. Now I'm buying them. Bloody hell. Web browser. Let's go to the web browser. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do big face. Maybe I shouldn't show you my Amazon in case it accidentally shows you where I live or something. I'm not that good at the internet. Let's just go back to the pictures of beans. Web browser. This is what they look like. Do I have any? Yes. Probably got 4 cans. They come in 4 packs like beers, or 8 packs, whatever. You just pick up the beans. There isn't a shopping trip or list that gets filled out on pleasebringtheshoppingtome.com of normal goods when you're buying potatoes, bread, milk. I don't buy milk because I'm vegan, so I get soy milk, but it's the same thing. It's just I call it soy milk to the public, but in my head I just say milk. Beans, they go on the list. It's just part of it. Beans, standard. There was even a time that Nigel will attest to when we were younger, that back in the day, that a national supermarket caused a price war by undercutting the main manufacturer of bean and charging quite considerably less for their value bean, to the point where another supermarket said, well, we can charge less for our value bean, and another supermarket said, we will basically give you your beans for free if you come into our supermarket. And for a little while there, we were in bean dreamland. I'm talking about the beans again. Yes, it's vegan. Of course it's got to be vegan. Please trust me, it's vegan. It better be. It better be. Not back in the day, it used to have pork in it, but now, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, vegan. Good protein, vegan, baked beans. We used to get them for a penny a can. At one point, penny a can. I bet they sneak in stuff. Yeah, I worry. But I would feel that the whole point of it is they're really quite cheap to produce, so probably better off not sticking in anything that you don't. Why complicate it? Just keep it simple. Beans, a little bit of sauce, and then cooked it. The magic. I'm telling you the magic that's going to go into the video. I shouldn't tell you this. We should save it for the video. But they're cooked in the can. Cooked in the can. Once that's sealed, once that bad boy's sealed, you know that's good. Nuclear wars will go, ages or eons will pass. Tins of beans will be dug up and eaten intact. Mental Health Monday. Treatment and support for you. Oh dear, what was he talking about? We briefly alighted on it, haven't we? That there are these things you can do, and it's important if you're getting angry. Talking has helped immensely. We've got some tips, so I'm going to bang through these tips as well. The treatment is available. It's there, mind.org. Go and have a look at it. We'll talk about it more in deep later on. We'll do the 10 tips, but here I did want to. Where am I trying to find this? You can see me trying to read the internet with my brain. These are phone lines. Respect, Freedom Programme, Alternatives to Violence Programme. Was this the ones I was looking for? Useful Contacts, it might have been. Useful Contacts. Yeah, these are the ones. Alcoholics Anonymous, look, they're at the top because they're alphabetically. They win out alphabetically. But look, these are the ones that are quite important. Eating disorders, domestic abuse helpline, that's the one I wanted. If you're struggling with somebody who is struggling with anger and you need to talk to somebody, these are quite important resources. So I'm not making any jokes about them. They're good. Don't worry about me talking about beans. You can call that number. Oh, I did make. Oh, damn it! I made a joke. and the National Self Harm Network there, NSH, and it's good to look at those. They're there, they're available. Mental Health Monday. Yeah, so okay, and then we can do our tips, and then we can say we timed out on that. I can talk whatever gibberish I want for the last 15 minutes after the tips. All right. Think before you speak. Oh, I should learn. Oh, I should have learned from that. It's not even, you can't even see it because there it is. Look, now you can see it. Oh, capital K, yeah. Oh, capital K. I was saying hello to you earlier in spirit. I was saying there was things that you would have liked because I've done tangents on tangents. You'd have to watch it back. Things have been stressful, but the computer has managed to not crash throughout this broadcast, and we're pushing, we're forging ahead. We're still here. Capital K, I should say, this is the first time I've been on stream since Capital K has been popping off on YouTube. So if you haven't gone to see his YouTube and you do watch Drag Race, which all of us, let's be fair, we all watch Drag Race. If you haven't been to see his video Drag Race, the words are coming, aren't they? You know what I'm doing here. Sort of like my hands here, these pictures. This is the this is the graphic that I would like to appear on screen of the video, and it's a good video about Drag Race with some opinions that you will enjoy because you watch Drag Race. We all do. So go and watch Capital K's video on Drag Race after this, and this, when I've edited it, that will become an actual image of like a video thumbnail or a link to YouTube. So you'll enjoy that. Popping off. Part of the Ganji Puka warrior crew. So think before you speak. I never do. In the heat of the moment, it means you're going to say the bad things. We looked earlier that saying the bad things makes the other people cross, and they also say bad things, and everyone gets cross, and they're all saying the bad things. So think before you speak. Tip 1, bang, we're getting these in, because we wanted to make sure there's some actionable tips before we stop talking about this, because I've been talking about it for an hour and a half, and starting to slightly lose my mind. Number 2, once you're calm, express your anger. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. When you're calm, express your anger. I thought when you're calm, don't be no, actually go to it. State your concerns and your needs clearly and directly, but without hurting others, without doing them rah rah chaffa chaffa, or trying to control them. So state your needs, but don't expect them to happen. I'd like my beans to be warm. Well, I don't expect it. You're getting cold beans tonight, son. Enjoy it. And actually, the truth of the matter is, just talking about the beans again for a second, that when you're young, you've seen your adult, like the people that look after you, your parents, whatever, the cub leader, the people that are supposed to be responsible, that are looking after you in different situations, occasionally eat the beans cold. They don't serve them to you cold. They serve you the beans warm. But occasionally you see a caregiver or an adult or a professional, a doctor, eating the beans cold, straight from the tin with the spoon or the fork, and it blows your mind. And then you do it when you're a kid and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And then when you grow up, you sometimes eat the beans cold. It's just incredible, isn't it? It's just incredible. You're hoping I was at Disney World. Yeah, I would love to have been at Disney World. But no, I don't know why it keeps blanking out the words that you say. But I think that's the automatic. I've got a really strong automatic moderator set so that people can't say any bad words. But yeah, no, things were just stretched last week. But there's beans. They're holding me together. Number 3, get some exercise. And Just Call Me Snips was right on the money at the start. Physical activity can reduce stress, and it can that causes you to become angry. So the physical activity reduces the thing that causes you to become angry. If you feel your anger escalating, go for a brisk walk or run. It does 2 things. It gets you out of the way of the thing that you're making you angry, and it works off those feelings that are making you angry. It's brilliant. So exercise, there's 10 points. 10 points. Oh, you moved away from Disney World. Were they too noisy? As a neighbour, were they too noisy? Oh, it's Mickey Mouse again. It's 11 o'clock, Mickey Mouse. Can you keep it down? Oh, Mickey Mouse, party, party. Oh, Mickey Mouse, can you keep it down? It's 11 o'clock. Oh, I don't give a chuff. Oh, Mickey Mouse. Like, Mickey, can you please keep it down? Oh, Donald Duck's over. We got Goofy and we're all having a party. Like, I could imagine they'd be going on, wouldn't they, all night, Mickey Mouse. Like when the kids, after the kids had gone and the kids, then it's time for Mickey Mouse to really let his hair down, isn't it? Really lets his hair down then. Mickey Mouse. I won't say the things that. Oh, you did have noisy neighbours. I know you've got no neighbours, but that's an improvement, isn't it? Either you've moved or you've been executing people. Either way. Oh, I shouldn't joke about things like that because Twitch will switch me off, won't they? It's a joke, obviously. Don't move. I mean, execute people. Once you're calm, express your anger, get some exercise. It doesn't say to execute anyone, does it? So take a timeout. Timeouts aren't just for kids. Give yourself short breaks during times of the day. That's nice, isn't it? I've got an automatic system for that. It's not good. It's called smoking. And that's a naughty thing that I've done to sometimes cope with my anger. But it does help me to take the time out. So maybe I just need to do the time out and not the smoking. Mind blown. Mind blown, eh? A few moments of quiet time might help you to feel better prepared to handle what's ahead without getting irritated or angry. I'd counter that. I'd say you will still tap the mic. Oh, it scared me that I tapped the mic. You will still get angry, I think. And taking the time out give you that time to deal with the increasing build-up of repeated things that are making you angry, I think. But better prepared to handle it without getting irritated. That would be a dream of a goal, wouldn't it? Without getting irritated, dream of a goal. Maybe it's achievable. I should say it should be achievable. Be positive on Mental Health Monday. It is achievable. Quick, we've got to get these last 3 points in the last 10 minutes, otherwise I'm naughty. Identify possible solutions. Instead of focusing on what made you mad, work on resolving the issue. Well, that's a good idea, isn't it? I'm not going to list the things that make the possible mad things. Remind yourself that anger won't fix anything, it only makes it worse. So look for, okay, so the example is somebody late for dinner, schedule your meals differently. Try and look for a way around it that doesn't make you angry. This is a really good one though, because I did read these beforehand. Stick with I statements. I've always said stick with the, what now? Because I've said that we should use our you at the start of sentences before, haven't I? I've said that. You feel like this. How do you think you is good for sharing and, thinking about how other people feel? But now we're looking at I, aren't we? Well, actually, I should also say, if you moved, that would be quite a stressful thing, isn't it? They say that's stressful, so you're in the right place now, Mental Health Monday. I hope it wasn't stressful for you. I hope it went smoothly. I don't know how stressful it's supposed. I suppose you have to put all your things in boxes, don't they? Look, 2 months. 2 months. We'll look back when we're old. We'll be like 2 months. Do you remember 2 months? Do you remember 2 months? When we're old. And I'll be like, no, I don't remember anything. Because at the moment I can't even remember what I was going. Yeah, sticking with the I statements. For example, say I'm upset that you left the table without offering to help with the dishes, instead of you never do the housework. That's quite helpful though, isn't it? That's quite helpful. When you're angry, use the I. So you can sort of say like I'm feeling this instead of you're doing that. Like that. That's probably quite a good way to look at it. Number 7, don't hold a grudge. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. If you allow anger and other negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by bitterness. So being able to forgive someone who angered you, it lets it go. I like carrying a grudge can be like carrying a heavy wet blanket, and like if you can just cast that off and say, oh, I don't care about that anymore, then that is freeing, isn't it? It's liberating. Otherwise, you have to think about these things that make you angry all the time because you're always carrying these things around. Yeah, good call. Use humour to release tension. Well, we're good at that. We've been talking about beans. We've been talking about the beans, so we're good at that. I'm going to claim that. Use humour to release tension. I'm going to claim that I've been doing that. Actually, I've just been messing about. So don't tell anyone how naughty I've been in class. Let's pretend, because we're getting through it. We're getting through it. We've managed to get the feffing chaffing computer on this week. Last week it was Tuesday, and I was sat here, and my friend said, "It's Tuesday." I was like, "But it's not. It's Monday." And they said, "But yesterday was Bank Holiday Monday. Did you think it was Sunday?" And I said, "Well, after I was eating my Sunday dinner and walking the dog in the woods, yes, I did." Do I go on Tuesday? Feel cross? I was already, felt so we didn't. We thought we'd just come back on Monday because they expect it to be Monday, as I thought it was. Use humour to release the tension. I should have just been funny. But avoid sarcasm because it can hurt people's feelings and make things worse. Oh, it's making you feel bad. Yeah, don't do that to people then. But any unrealistic expectations you might have or how things should go, quite often things don't go the way you want, and you can laugh at them, can't you? Quite often you can laugh at them. You should hopefully laugh at them. Maybe not right at the moment they happen. It'd make you feel bad. But then in years to come you look back and laugh. So maybe you can say, "Oh, next time these bad things happen, maybe we will look back and laugh." So maybe it isn't that bad. I don't know. Practice relax. I do know. Practice relaxation skills. And yeah, I'll just move chat around just to confirm. Yes, it is like a heavy wet blanket, isn't it? Carrying around a grudge. Or it can be different. I suppose it can be different kind. It can be, you don't maybe carry it around all the time, but maybe sometimes you see something that flashes it on again. Oh, that chuffer, them and their chuffing. You need to be able to just flash that off, chuff that away. Let it dissolve into little butterflies or funny things. Practice the skills. It's weird, isn't it? Again, we're talking about anger and practicing skills to not be angry. But yeah, you can. It's not just like pushing the old weights or the learning to do the thing. You can learn to not be angry. So, it suggests yoga. They always suggest a bit of yoga, don't they? They like a bit of yoga. Always suggesting the yoga. I do like chuff. I do like to use chuff because what's nice about it is I think we know that it sort of sits in for swear words, and it means I don't have to do the swear words. So I quite like it. I think it's quite good. And Ronnie Barker used to do that with language. He wrote daytime early, like it was a sitcom that was on. It was in the 1950s or 60s, 70s, 60s. 60s or 70s, and anyway, it was on in the earlier part of the day on the BBC, so there was no chuffing swearing up whatsoever. So he used words that he wrote himself that were that sat in for swear words, like they called each other a nurk sometimes, and it used to get a big laugh because it was just a really random word, but everyone knew what it meant. But it was on early time on the telly, so no one was going to be saying anything more rude than nurk. So yeah, I thought chuff. I thought if I just modify just some of that language, that might be better than just swear. I did swear by accident earlier in the stream once. So if we had a swear counter, then I should have a swear jar, shouldn't I? That's what I should do. Get a chuffing swear jar. Rude boys. Yeah, exactly. Let's not be rude. Know when to seek help. How apt. Learning to control anger is a challenge, though, for everyone. So knowing when, and we've probably been through this earlier in the stream, haven't we? But if the bad things are happening, if you've got any of that bad list that we did earlier, any of that bad list, good time to check out the. I've got my pointy finger nearly lined up with the. How'd you? If I tilt my there. Know when to seek help. Yeah, and now I'm listening to Rihanna in my head as well. So that's something else that's going on in my head. You'd think I could hear it in the headphones, but I can't. Know when to seek help. Know when to seek help. They're your options. Don't delay. Don't worry about that thing at the top there, that scary COVID thing. This was the Mayo Clinic. I'm just telling you what it is. They sell things on their website. I'm sure I'm not promoting any of it. Don't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it. Copyright. Rihanna's going to come after me. She would try and get me for a copyright strike. I'll get one for this. Look, for pictures of beans. Can't copyright strike pictures of beans. What are you on about? That's what we were talking about, Rihanna. She'd be like, no, I don't know. You were singing my songs. I'm not sure. We had beans out, mate. We had the beans out. All you have to do is just get the beans out really quick. Really quick. So that she didn't see it. And she's got a lot of eyes, hasn't she? She's got a lot of spies, got a lot of eyes. How would she know? How would she know? She'd have to watch the stream, wouldn't she? She'd have to watch the stream. Maybe she does. Maybe she does. Tell you who else might have watched the stream this week. Naomi Osaka. We're going to talk about her last week. We never got round to it. And she's been sad this week as well. I just wanted to say this at the end. She's it's not a laughing matter. She's been world number 2, withdrawn from the. She's not playing tennis, and she's really good at tennis, and she's not playing it because she feels sad and her mental health is suffering. That's what it says in the news. So I just wanted to shout out to her. She's not watching. She's not watching. I mean, I think it's really courageous, and it takes a lot of courage to be able to stand up for yourself and say, look, I don't want to play tennis in these massive, huge competitions with this pressure on me at this point in my career, because I feel things that are detrimental to my overall mental health. Fine. And not wanting to go into the press conference and talk to the press, that was bad of the press to be like, they should have recognised at that point. They should have said, oh wait, if you don't want to come and talk to us, do you feel okay? Should have been their question. Not, well, who do you think you are not talking to us on the press? And the people that run the competitions, they were like, if you're not going to talk to the press, then this is the French people in the French competition. If you're not going to talk to the press, then there's trouble because it's part of your contract. That is part of the. And she was like, I don't feel like talking. Well, feel good for her that she's able to at least take charge in that situation and do what's best for her. But I just wanted to shout out Naomi Osaka, who won't be watching the stream. So. Yeah. Mental Health Monday. She's not watching, but if she ever did, if through the magic of the internet she were to accidentally see that, it's virtually impossible, isn't it? Virtually impossible. But I just wanted her to know that we're all behind her and that we support her and that she's got a lot to give. So just to take her time and when she wants to play. And if she's feeling her best self, she'll play her best. So she'd probably watch Mental Health Monday regularly, find out how to be your best self and play your best. See the way I work that in then? See the way I work that into a lovely segue into this. This is our YouTube channel. It's a channel on YouTube where I edit down all this wittering and yarbling into a sort of comfortable, episodic, periodic media bite. I feel so good to be back on stream with you. Thank you very much for being here. I've got a little idea in my head about this week's endeavour. We want to do a lot of art on the stream, but I also think I'm going to try, and it sounds a bit weird to say this, I'm going to try and play the games over on YouTube. Like, why would I not use Twitch for the maybe I should do it the other way around. Maybe I should do the talking on the YouTube and play the games on the Twitch. But I was going to, if I just feel like picking up the games and playing them, I was just going to, don't knock the microphone. I was just going to push them away, and I was going to try and do more talking with the window, talking about the art, to try and get on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, try and do regular gaming stream, slightly different. I don't know. Too much going on in my head, isn't there? But I just need to be more regular. That's what I need to be. And if this computer has let me run this tonight, maybe it will let me run it tomorrow. I've been really nice to the artificial intelligence in my life. I'll tell you that. I'm really nice to the artificial intelligence. So if they can hear me, if Skynet can hear me, thanks very much for the kilobytes tonight. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your patronage. Thank you very much for your patience. And thank you all with a big hug. I'll see you anon. You be good, my little podcast. You have been good. You have been good. You have been good. The computer is, I tell you something. I looked up a lot on the old internet, and the one thing that came up was this article that said basically unfixable, crashes sometimes better, sometimes not, based on the graphics card. People have tried to fix it. They've spent a lot of money, no success. 2013 is quite old for a computer. Why don't you get yourself a new one? That's what they've said. So I'm going to have to expedite that. But since I know nothing about it, I'm going to try and do a stream where we talk about, maybe people can advise me, and we do a bit of browsing and talking about computers, and try and do that on a stream where the computer crashes. That would be brilliant, won't it? That would be funny. And every time it crashes, I'll find it even more funny. More funny than the last. More funny than the last. And that's not even about art, is it? So that's naughty. Look, I'm being naughty now. You've been good. Don't let's start being naughty. Right, don't let's start being naughty. You be good, my little podcast. We've done it over. Wow. Look at that. We've done like 1 hour and 50 minutes. Wow. We've actually done 2 hours because there was a little bit of technical. Build a computer. Do you know what? I watched a video. I'll do a big face for you. Do a big face. I watched a video of a nice person that I like who plays World of Warcraft called Hazelnutty Games, and she was building a computer herself, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. She had all the bits, right? You were probably familiar with this concept, but she had like the box, like the empty box. So I thought at first, I was like, you're going to be soldering in, and I was like this is going to be tough, but no, it was like an empty box, and there was like the slots like ready for the bits, and then you had the other bits, like the processor, the graphics card, the I think that's about it. And you plug them in, you screw them in. You have to have a cooling system, and I don't know. See, not built a computer, some of them got water involved, which sounds dangerous. But basically, you can fit together your things in your box. It sounds achievable, doesn't it? It sounds feasible. She was able to do it. There's a bit of fiddling with the old screwdrivers, a bit of fiddling, but she was able to do it. So I thought to myself, that's an option. But then the problem that brings is that you have to know what all the things are to put in your box. So they're going to see me coming, aren't they? Water cooling, yeah. They're going to see me coming, aren't they? They're going to see me coming. Oh, he doesn't know about any of the things. So how am I going to, without knowing all? So I've either got to learn what all the things are that go in the good boxes these days. I remember when the Intel, little Intel inside, yeah, I've got to find out what's the equivalent of like the Intel inside these days. I've got to find out that, and either I learn it all, or I just go to a company and sort of, judging by the price, roughly guess that that's good. There's going to be somewhere in the middle of that, isn't it? We're going to have to talk about it on stream. We're going to have to get out, open a window and look at them, and you're going to have to help me. Because there is enough room in my head for all this technical stuff, but it comes at the cost of other stuff these days. These days, I'm starting to see the limit of the library, of the brain. You know, the more stuff you try and cram in, the more stuff you forgot to get from the shops. So you don't know anything about it. So there's the blind leading the blind. I'd say the whole of the internet can help as well. I'll open it up to everyone. But at the end of the day, you've contributed an awful lot, and I think it'd just be fair, isn't it, to look at it together? I don't know how it works. It's better than looking at it on my own. And then I'll just pull the trigger, and then I'll just say, look, that one, I can either get all the bits separately and put it together, or these people will do that for me and promise me that it'll work. This is the other thing. They'll promise it'll work. If I do it myself and it doesn't work, and I ring someone up, they're going to say, well, you didn't put it together properly, did you? So, of course, it doesn't work. What are you hoping for? They'll be laughing at the customer service. Ha ha ha. Did you put that together yourself, did you? Ha ha ha. Well, then you're screwed. And that was them hanging up. You need more RAM for my brain. Yeah, God, Elon Musk. Let's call up Elon Musk. Elon Musk, can you do some of the old chips in the brain for me? I need a bit of an upgrade. And Elon Musk would be like, absolutely, absolutely, we can. Like, sign this and lie down. He wouldn't say it in that sinister way, though, would he? He wouldn't say, absolutely, we can. Would he? He wouldn't get his, I'm reaching for the hat. We don't need the hat. It's calm, relaxed. Yeah, we need to upgrade our brains, but we're going to pull the trigger. It's going to happen. We want to upgrade, but the thing I wanted to improve before the magic box was, you can still sort of see it in the back corner there, a little bit of a mess in the room, just some items. I want to make that a nice space where you can see more than one person seated. Elon Musk, he wouldn't know, would he? Not if he's trying to send you his brain link. He wouldn't be like Elon. He'd be oh, friendly. Put on my leather jacket today, do my hair like the young people do it. Put on my t-shirt, go for a little walk. Hey. Talk about, like, the future and mankind, like, and Mars. Get people excited, fire off a rocket. They like rockets. It'd be nice if I was Elon Musk, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I often wonder. Oh God, this is saying something on the internet that's going to get me in trouble. I often wonder if the devil were to come back in, how they're in the films. We'll say it's in the films, but really we're talking about real life. No, we're talking about the films, aren't we? Talking about the films. Shouldn't be getting funny ideas at the end of Mental Health Monday. But if Elon Musk were to come, the devil. See, oops. But if the devil, in the films, when he's like on Earth and he's a bad person, he's doing. I wonder if Elon Musk. I wonder if he'd be like Elon Musk, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he a bit? Getting really rich. Yeah, this is taking a turn. This is taking a bad turn that we're going to edit off. No, edit that one off. Get rid of that. But it wouldn't he? Like, imagine the devil, right? Just the two. Imagine the parallels, right? First of all, Elon Musk did the money thing, didn't he? Did the what was he first? No, first it was music first, wasn't he? Music. Take control of all that music, the internet music, Napster. That was made loads of money. And then he was like, we've got enough money to take on the banks. And I should do an episode on this, but his strategy, his clever strategy is to look at an aging, sort of archaic market that is going to get evolved technologically and exploit the shit out of it with, I swore I did the swearing, to exploit it by doing the technical evolution thing on it, being that step ahead. Did that to the money in the banks, the old PayPal, did that. So, like, but wouldn't the devil be all into, like, getting really rich off all the money in the banks? Yeah, he definitely would be doing that, wouldn't he? Oh dear. And then, like, I don't know, I couldn't see Jesus packing all his money up into big rockets. I don't know. It's something worth thinking about, though, isn't it? Elon Musk, is he the devil? No, he's not. He's just a businessman who had, like, some of his hair come out and then he had some of it put back in, and then he got a bit older, started to get a bit more frivolous, didn't he? Started to get a bit more frivolous, said some things onto it, had a bit too much of the old, I don't know what it is that you have when you're expensive like that. Don't even know which part of the face you put it in. But he had a bit too much, and then you get it on the Twitter, doing the old tweets. That's where he's at. He's not the devil. Okay. Saved me a suing there, didn't we? Saved me a copyright strike from Elon Musk. I really should do an Elon Musk character, shouldn't I? I should get an Elon Musk hat, but he's not famous for wearing a hat. What kind of hat would Elon Musk wear? Hey, what kind of hat would Elon Musk wear? He might be He might be. Let's just type in Elon Musk hat and let's just see what we get. Let's just see what we get. Let's just introduce you to my web browser. The Boring Company, apparently. Apparently that's the... If you Google it, which is what I've asked Google to provide me with, Elon Musk hat images, that's what you get, The Boring Company. $20. Not famous for wearing a hat, is he? Now we're looking at pictures of him. He's going to be getting cross. He'll know. He's got an AI that does it. He's got an AI that when you talk about him on the internet, or like, look, it's come up. Auto mod. Do you see? He's Elon Musk. He's a goon. We're going to allow that. But Elon wouldn't let him. He's going to know. He was goofy. Like, the thing about Elon Musk is he was goofy when he was younger. He was a bit goofy. Young little South African. Like, I'm not critiquing. He lost his hair a bit. He was a bit like thin. And then the more money he got, it's weird the way this happened. The more money he got, the better looking he became. It's just weird. Not even critiquing, it's just how it happened. It's just how that happened. But he's not famous for a hat, so we're not going to be able to get a good hat picture out of Elon, are we? I've forgotten what the hat was about. He's got Asperger's, he says. He might well have. He says things, though. And at this point, I don't know what I believe. That's Elon Musk. Well, that's him younger. Look, there you are. That's him younger. I haven't got copyright for this, so let's hope that Elon doesn't come for us. And that's what I was saying. I forgot why I was talking about his hat, but I mean, at this stage, the artificial intelligence thing, he must have an auto picking it up on a computer every time someone says something about him or tweets something about him. So he knows, just so he can measure it. So, he won't be looking into this personally, but they're looking at that hat picture again in England. Not just in England, they're broadcasting it on Twitch, the fuffers. I'm going to chuff him up. That's what he'd say, because this is what I worry about, is when you get loads of money and you start spending it, you chuff people up, don't you? Hat. The reason I need a hat is because when I'm doing the Elon Musk impression, I need to put his hat on. That's why I need a hat. So maybe the Boring Company's accessible. The green t-shirt hat, the Western hat. We get that hat. Okay. I'm gonna have to buy do I have to buy a white cowboy hat? White plastic cowboy hat. White plastic cowboy. I bet loads of awful things came up on Google quickly there. I didn't have any control. That was Google's choosings. White plastic. It's not quite the same. I could put a little band around it, couldn't I? We'll be able to get one of these. Might even be able to wear it down the rave. Except I'm not going to any raves because of the old COVID. But yeah, we're going to get one of these. And that'll be our Elon Musk. I'll have to work on my impression because I don't know how he talks. But I'm just going to have to do big face for a second to make sure I get a picture that's acceptable while I talk about this. And you got to be careful about what you type in here. So this is... let's go back to web browsing. This is a big pile of sugar cubes. It represents enormous wealth. I wonder what these people spend their money on when they've run out of party drinks. I just think Elon Musk spends a lot of his money sometimes on piled sugar. And he gets really drunk. eats a load of sugar cubes, and then starts saying things on the old Twitter. Because I mean, when you're at that point, once he's got that much money, like, I don't know. I just think he's gone beyond, hasn't he? So I just think sometimes that happens. It's a joke, of course. I'm just joking. Just joking. Don't come and get me, Elon. This is the end of Elon. No, this is the end of Mental Health Monday. I've now made myself a marked man. So I had my little 2-week break. It was because of the computer not working and me feeling stressed about all this stuff, which we talked about at the start of the episode for half an hour while the thing didn't work properly. But now I got it working, right? Now I got it working. If I disappear, it's either my local MP Nadim Zahawi, who is a real Tory rotter. I've said that now. And again, he's in charge of the vaccines. It's either that, or it's Elon Musk, or it's Donald Trump. It's one of them. But otherwise, I'm back on tomorrow. So, you've got a 1 in 3. No, 1 in 4. I've been marked since birth, yeah. They've had to pull me out with the forceps, and it just does. It's not so bad. You can't. It's not so bad these days, is it? To pull me out with the old get out there. Get. Before my mum went to the hospital, she did her roots because she didn't want to have funny hair on. She did her makeup and her roots. That's true, and I don't really want to become famous if it requires. We've been through this. We've been through this. Look, I don't want to become famous if it involves buying my primes and viewers. That's not what happened with Brad Pitt. That's not how he got famous. I want to be involved in underground filmmaking and just not even. I don't think fame is the right word for it. Like, just for people to enjoy the work would be nice. That's what. So no, I'm all right without the buying the followers. Thanks. I've had the Pfizer one. Yeah, well, I think the Pfizer is a good way to go. I think that's a good way to go. I think in my country we bought loads of the other one that had some sort of market money. They don't make money off it, but the people who own the company make money off the company. I don't know. Again, let's not get Boris Johnson running out to try and kill me over this vaccine. But yeah, we had the other one in droves, didn't we? So I got mine. I got given the blood clot vaccine. They're all good. Vaccines are good. I've had two. I'd have another one if they gave it me. Fuff it. What the chuff? Can't be worse, can it, than having to go and sit on the bus next to some of them chuffers coughing and chuffing in my face. I don't mind. I'll have them all. Back in my day, when I was a right fuffer and a chuffer, back in my day, I'd have drunk pints of this and, I don't drink any pints of any alcohol anymore, but I'd have drunk whatever. Could have been a funny colour, couldn't it? Could have put a couple of shots of this in it. Whatever. Give me that chuffing, I'll chuff. If I'm prepared to do that, then I should be prepared to have a little vaccine, shouldn't I? A little vaccine. If I'm prepared to go to because I used to not be vegan. Let's big face this, right? Let's big face this. I used to not be a vegan, right? I used to not give that much thought to what I ate at, say, 2:00 in the morning after a load of beers. Once you're really drunk and it's time for my meals, my cooking. Sometimes I just go in a place that was still open. Bear this in mind. They were still open at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5. They're still frying cheeseburgers at like 6:00 in the morning, right? I was going in a place like that. Not that it's bad to be late, whatever. Just bear that in mind, though. They're still open. All, you're really drunk. They're open. Good combo, isn't it? Good combo. But normally, if you were like, what kind of restaurant do you want to eat in? You wouldn't say, well, are they going to be open at 4 in the morning frying cheeseburgers for drunks? Because that's on my list of like Michelin-starred things to experience. No. But I would wander up there, wander out of the pub, toward the vicinity of where I live, which on the way would be punctuated, this street, with these fast food outlets, which were nice people. They were nice people. They were always nice to me as they were frying the cheeseburger. They always talked nicely with me. I always enjoyed having a nice conversation with these nice people. I've got nothing against them frying their cheeseburgers, really. I mean, I took a street whiz once, so no vaccine could harm me. Exactly. I would. Oh wait, we will talk. Okay, we'll answer the vegan question in a minute. But I just wanted to explain that I would go in there and I'd say, "Can I have a cheeseburger, please?" Right. That's what I'd say. In general, I'd try and get that out of my. At that point in the night, I'd try and get that sent. Oh, cheese. Burger mate. Burger mate was always a good one. Where you hold on to the burger mate. Burger mate. If I could get those words out, burger mate, then they can produce the burger. I can pay them the £2. It used to cost, I honest swear to you, £2, maybe even £1. I was prepared to eat something that was produced in about a minute and a half. put together in about a minute and a half, 5. You sit there with the other drunk people, sit there with them, and they just put this together really quick. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it was. Never used to ask them. Just have that. If you're just going to do that, if you're going to do that at 4 in the morning, if you're going to walk past somewhere that you've never eaten before at 4 in the morning, see that it's open, and be like, this is a good thing. Turn up for the books. That's me. I'm in there, and you say to them, "Can I have X, Y, Z off the menu?" And they say to you, "No, the menu's off now. We've only got," and you can't really understand. They say menu's off. We've got this. We've got. You're like, "Well, I'm really drunk. I can't really." Just yes. I'll just say yes. I'll say yes. If you've done that, and I know you've done that, I know we've all done that, haven't we? Well, it can't just be me. But if you've eaten whatever they give you in that pita bread, they're nice people. I like them. I have a nice chat with them. They're nice people, but they see how drunk I am, and they think, well, let's put a lot of salad. I tell you how nice they are. They always say, let's put a lot of salad in there, because in the morning when they feel really poorly, at least they've got nice vitamin C from the salad, a bit of tomato. They're nice enough to put that in there, aren't they? They're nice enough to put it, but I just chuff down anything. So if I'm going to do that, yeah, I'll have a vaccine. I'll have a little vaccine. Would I eat a chicken leg grown in a lab with no living animal involved? So, in theory, yes. But the problem is that to get to that point, I believe that some of the science. I know it's hypothetical, but I'm just going to ground it in reality a little bit. I believe to get there, some of the science involves a bit of killing of animals, and I'm not sure it's that necessary. Yeah, here we go. A little quick. Wait, I asked a question. They asked me a question. They asked me the question. I have to answer it. I like answering it. They don't. I think there's some bad animal. Oh, sad for the animals involved on the way there. So I don't think we need to get there. And the other thing that's really interesting is that if you've not eaten animals for a while, the next time someone shows you a chicken's leg, even if it's been all burned, nicely burned at the right temperature, sometimes it can look like a leg on a bone and a leg, and then the appetizing nature of that to the carnivore, to those that are used to eating it, that are told this is what you want to eat, this is good for you, this is nice, stops. Like, weirdly, like my mom was cooking chicken not long earlier, just today, and to me it didn't smell like yummy yum chicken. It was like, ooh, what's that smell of, like could you imagine if shouldn't say this on Mental Health Monday. Could you imagine if you had your face on the cooker and like the smell of your own face burning? It would be horrible, wouldn't it? It would be horrible. Well, that is what burning flesh smells like to me now. So if there's a chicken, I had to lose a leg in order to save every chicken born. Oh, that would be good. Yeah, you know what? I'd pull the fucking leg off myself. I'd say, do you know what I'd do? As naughty vegan that I am, I'd say I'm making this cool chicken. Do you like, which leg do you like the most? Get ready, because I think that would be great. Every other chicken born after it There have been so many chicken deaths. Like, did you know the chicken is the most populous bird on the planet? There's more chickens than any other bird. Like, there's more chickens than people. It's what's the most populous bird on the planet? If you say that, if you ask someone that, they'll be like, oh, sparrows, or is it, is it sparrows? No, the pigeons, mate. It's pigeons, isn't it? It's chickens. There's more chickens, and what's going to happen to all of them? Oh, going to get their heads cut off. So yeah, I'd call that shot. And the chicken, it'd be bad, and the vegans would say that's bad of you. You did a non-vegan thing, and I'd say, yeah, I fucking well did. And like, I'll take that one. I'll take that one for the team. All these other chickens, they can. My team of chickens. They'll all be like, thank you. Well, not really you, indirectly you, but mainly thank you, chicken Jesus, that died for all our sins. They didn't actually die. They only had an amputated leg. Thank you, chicken Jesus. I'd get it one of those little wheels to go around on. It'd be all right. But yeah, in terms of serving me up a chicken leg, you don't need to worry about the labs and doing that. It's not worth it. There's no point. It begins to feel disgusting after a while, just the concept. Because it's about concepts, it's about ideas, paradigms. And when it turns out that, as it has turned out, that I can take all the protein and nutrition from mushrooms and beans and pulses and soya and all this other stuff, I don't need, we've got this really modern system now where these super labs. Think about this, right? We've got these super labs that can produce a chicken leg without a chicken. So why not just produce food? Why make chicken's legs and all weird stuff like that? You could probably make a frog without a frog. Frog legs without a frog. Well, I don't want to eat that either. You could probably make a shark's spleen. You could probably make you could probably make a bear's liver, couldn't you? And I'm still going to be like, well, sounds well. Some people would probably think that's nice, but there's a demand for chicken, yeah. But there's a demand. Bear this in mind, right? Bear this in mind. There's a demand for stuff because you can create a demand. You don't have to keep pushing the marketing and the advertising and pushing the demand for it. You can reduce the demand by creating other options, by explaining things differently. It's optional. That's optional. So yes, there's a demand for things, but demand is created. Not usually you have a big supply of something cheap, so you create a demand in a market to sell it, and you tell people that it's about what people ask for, we give them, but it's not true. That's just not true. Not in my opinion, anyway. That's not how the market works. Because if that were the case, then I'd have a lot more options on the menu. Because I'm always asking for them. But yeah, and this is shifting anyway. Demand is shifting. More people are changing their minds about these things. But my point being, if you didn't have to kill a chicken, if we got the same dinner essentially, let's say meat, potatoes, chicken, potatoes, vegetables on my plate, I've got the same thing. It's just instead of chicken, I've got some sort of substitute thing. They've made it out of soya protein, or just that simplistic a concept. My chicken might not be as good as yours, might it? It might not be as tender or as chickeny or whatever, but mine's come with no death. So thanks for the lab. Thanks very much for making me even just an array of varied foods. Thanks for the people who make the mushroom lasagna that is vegan. It's not, lab. It is sort of made in a lab, isn't it? Like technical food lab people. Thanks for all of it, because it's all options, and I don't have to choose the death option. So it's great as well that they can get in their labs now. Really modern. This is why I'm talking about really modern labs. Is that they can really actually make foods that don't have to involve death, but do tick all the boxes of nutritious, low fat, not going to kill you with the sugar, not going to kill you with the salt, not going to kill you with the There's all these things that are bad for you that they can now make good foods. Lab super. Bring that. I'll eat that. Thank you, Elon Musk. I'll have that for dinner. Do I think vegan demand will outweigh non-vegan demand? It's hard to know. Yeah, at the moment, the main people with the money are the people. The weird thing about it is the people with the money, the big. When I say the money, I'm talking about the farmers who own these vast lands that have huge amounts of animals that they're killing and the processing into these supermarkets, all this stuff that's going on, the huge fast food outlets that churn through all these animals. it's in their interest that you keep eating their shit, frankly. So they're going to keep making a big effort to keep people eating. I'm not afraid to swear on this one, to keep eating their shit. It is actually a fact. There is shit in muck burgers. It's a fact. They can't deny it. This is not libel. They can't come after me for this. In the meat grinding process, there is a certain amount of fecal matter that is accepted when they grind it. It's just true. It's just true. But yeah, so they keep you. No, they've got a lot of money involved in the process. And what's surprising about veganism is that people are sensible enough to see through the marketing. And it's not just that, it's that they're told the truth, like, about heart disease and about, let's just take bacon. Let's just take bacon as an example. Yeah, oh, I love bacon. Oh, it's crispy, it tastes nice. Like, loads of stuff are crispy and taste nice. But, like, if you just eat loads of bacon, it's going to be really bad for you. Like, not even just bad for the piggy, like, bad for you as well. Like, we know that. That's a fact, isn't it? You have to only have a little bit. Animal agriculture is bad for the environment as well. Yeah, a slightly different argument, but exactly true. But, like, I just think that, again, asking rural Italians to ask, people's culture. This is what it's about. It's about culture, right? They might initially shoot at me, but culturally, people have got these funny ideas. They might shoot me if I ask them to not do the certain things they do at Christmas. But some of it is, like, really important and valuable, and some of it has to be changed for the good of society, and some of it, whatever, do whatever you like, But there are lots of examples of cultural hangovers having to be changed for the good of society. But in terms of veganism, what happened is people just started looking and seeing that, it turns out I want to eat a healthy diet. So I'm going to look into this for myself. What's good and what's bad to eat? It's the meat things, the animal things. They're the bad things to eat. Why are we eating them? Because they were promoted to us by the people who were selling them. Like, that happened. Now that we're doing it, we're just in the process of doing it. We don't want to do that anymore, do we? No, we don't have to. We've got all this other good stuff that we can eat. Fine. So can I have that, please? And that has actually been happening with veganism, despite, like, they've not been promoting it. They've not been people championing, from the supermarkets and from the farmers. They're not, the big, but the people who have been championing it, the real people on YouTube, or okay, let's be fair, it's now seen as a growth market. So it's a growth market, so people want to get their money into it. So people who aren't vegan, who don't care, are selling vegan sausages in the growth market now. I get it, yeah. But, it's just like it's up to you to look into it if you want. And if you want to eat animals, that's sad. But culturally, I think actually in our lifetime it could happen almost overnight. I think enough, like, imagine the cultural shift in racism, in the way, like, people of a certain, like, things that were acceptable 20, 30 years ago, not that long ago, 20, 30 years ago, that certain people can remember, and not acceptable now, not at all acceptable. Even things like that were on the telly. I'm not going to pick examples and be like, oh, this is now an episode about racism, but that can shift quite quickly, can't it? In a good way. And I think the way we think about animals, shows about chickens. The more media that happens, the more eyes are opened. It's like a ripple effect. I just think that it is possible. I don't know if it will. I'm not that hopeful. I think we're in the bad. Tangent on a tangent. You ready? You ready for this? Tangent on a tangent. So, if there's, like, divergent worlds, if worlds just, like, someone makes a choice and then there's two worlds, that theory, right? That theory, the two worlds theory. And then someone makes another choice, there's another two, there's loads of them. I don't think there's a split for every little choice. So every little sparrow, does it sing today or not? Oh, different world. No, I don't think they bother with that. But the big choices, yeah, okay, I can see that. Who wins the Super Bowl? Who's Prime Minister? Did they vote this or that? The two big decisions. I can see that. And I think the world we live in has been on the wrong path. I think there's another good world out there where good things have been happening. I think we assume it's us, like we're the privileged ones because we won the war, and we're all. And it's not always been good. It's not all been good, has it? John Lennon got the shot, didn't he? John Kennedy got a shot, didn't he? Like, I think it's been going bad for. I think there's a lot of things, like we had Brexit, didn't we? We all know how I feel about that. There's a lot of choices that. So this tangent that I'm on now is just explaining that it's okay that bad things happen, and that I don't have to. Like, I know it's possible that the majority of people might just continue following the standard norms without questioning them. That's possible. But I'm hopeful that given all the information that's out there, I know that we're in the bad worlds. I know there's other good worlds where people are like living this vegan utopia and people are happy with each other and they're not having riots and hurting each other and feeling cross and angry, where instead they're just like healthy and happy and sharing and, looking at the globe in a good way. Like, we can help these people now because we're interconnected and we've got the internet and we can see, like, right now what's happening out there. Let's help this, let's do that. Where all that good stuff's happening. Yeah, maybe that is happening on our world as well. But but it's okay if it's not. It's okay if people don't get the point. There's a lot of worse that could be happening, I guess. But it's surprising. Yeah, that's true. Most people in the world don't have a computer. But the real simple cultures, like, they're not built on animal agriculture. Like, even if they use a cow for a bit of milk or something, like, basic feeding of the world involves rice and beans, doesn't it? That's the basic that we're trying to get. As long as everyone's got a belly full of rice and beans every night, we're on a certain. I hope we can get that done. We can get that done. Make sure kids aren't going hungry, at least, But we're not asking for everyone to have bacon sandwiches, are we? We're asking for staple foods that. Anyway, the point I was making is that it's available now, certainly in the Western society. It's up to you if you want to go into McDonald's or not, or horrible burger, horrible place. It's up to you if you want to eat the bacon. And by now, the information has been available, as well as the bacon has, as well as the adverts for the bacon, as well as me saying it, making you feel like you want to eat it because you've been conditioned, because it's part of your dopamine cycle to have this fatty thing that makes your dopamine go, in the same way as I want to smoke a cigarette. We know cigarettes are bad now. They used to sell them in the shops, they used to put them on the t-shirts, they used to put them on the racing cars. We know they're bad now. If you want bacon, but I've got a great alternative that's not bad. I've got a thing that basically is very similar to bacon. It tastes quite a lot like bacon. It's not exactly bacon, it's made from plants. How about that instead? The good thing about it is that it's not going to give you a heart disease and a cholesterol and in fact, if you look at the two options, the one is better for you. Like, medically. You could say medically, couldn't you? Medically. The vegan one's the better one for you. It's not going to make you sick. It's not going to make you. You're not going to be deficient in protein or something. If you look at a cow, that a cow eats grass. It's not deficient in protein. It's walloping. If you look at a gorilla sat in the jungle chewing on fruits, and it's not out there chasing down the other gorillas and eating them. It's just big solid muscle. You can generate these muscles in your body through plant-based means. Mushrooms and other fungi, it creates this like triangle of a food group with fruit that you can get all these vitamins, minerals and things that you need. It's really interesting science. So if you want to go down that road, like the science-based, like sometimes I think what would be best for me to to drink. I could look into it on the computer. What about electrolytes and all these energy drinks? Do they really mean what they say? And I could look into that. What's best for me to? I could just look into it. Not what people tell me is best. Not what the people who sell the burgers tell me is best. Not what the people who lived in the world, who sold the burgers, who worked in the factories, who's like not because your theory of culture involves a pie. Your theory of culture involves a pie, not because your national identity is threatened by my choosing not to eat a sausage. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being like a piece of food, like a sausage, being invested in such national pride? A pork pie. You can't get rid of that. That's what it means to be British. A pie. But, back in the day, they didn't have good ideas. They didn't have science. They didn't have microscopes. They couldn't look at it in the laboratory and get the computer to print it out. They couldn't ask the artificial intelligence what's got the nutrients in it and what's not. Which one's going to give me the heart disease and which one's going to give me a nice long life and like a healthy insides. They didn't know that, did they? So they just had animals and they cut off their heads and ate them. One day they'll look back and they'll think, oh, it's the equivalent of sacrificing a pig to the gods, isn't it? So I'm lucky. We're lucky. And it's fine. Eat what you want. You're gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna come around and knock your pie out. I'm gonna eat a pie sometimes. Sometimes I'm gonna eat a thing that's not quite vegan because do you know what? Like a bit of compromise here and there. Like I can't feel like if someone hands me their home cooked dish and they put a bit of cheese in that, I'm not going to go, all right, fuck you then, have that back. I'm a vegan, I'm not touching it. I'm going to go, do you know what? I'm too polite to say anything. I'm just going to eat this, and it's not going to kill me. I'm not allergic to these things. I'm not allergic to cheese, but I get to choose what I eat. And when all of my choices, all of my choices. Because I don't really like the idea of cutting off an animal's head and eating it. I get to not choose to, and it turns out it's better for me. Pie. God, I wish I had a pie. I ain't got any pies. No pies. Well, I've got a pizza. It's not really a pizza though, is it? They push the buck when they push the buck. I do miss cheese sometimes because it works so well on something like a pizza. Their pizza, that they say it's a pizza, it's not really. It's not without it's got cauliflower on it. I like cauliflower. I think you should call it something like a cauliflower bread. Cauliflower bread? Maybe not a pizza. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to call it. I don't know. No, it's all right though. Do you know what? It's fine though, because sometimes I don't have pizza on, like with the cheese, and that I can say to myself in the same way as like I decide not to smoke cigarettes sometimes, I decide definitely not to smoke alcohol ever. I can say, you know what? I'm all right without that though. It looks nice. Oh, yummy. Oh, doesn't it look yummy? Tempting, but it's not actually that good for me. It's bad for me. Bad for me. Yeah, I'm all right without it. And then I can look at the food that's nice, that is good for me, and be like, oh, actually, it's quite yummy. So that's the basis of veganism. Solved that one for you. But it doesn't, make sense though, doesn't it? Makes sense. And I'm not asking you to go in your cupboards and throw all your stuff away. You don't have to do that. Just when you're getting the choices, when your choices are being made, when you're having the choice, just like, why not have a go at the, try the actual, try the nice. Have a try. Maybe not on the cheese. Maybe not the cheese. I do agree with you. It doesn't really melt properly either sometimes. The vegan chicken could be good though. Yeah, exactly. See, now you're talking. Have a try of it. Why not? And I tell you what, we should do this on stream. We should do it with some people. Again, I'd like to get the room tidied up. I'd like to get the people. I would serve a burger that I cook, like a fully vegan burger, like Gordon Ramsay cook. This is me cooking it in this hand, flipping it over. I don't know if you can see that. That's me flipping it on the cooker. I will cook that burger to perfection, vegan, fully vegan, and I will set it against a reasonable but cheap, either from a fast food outlet or from a supermarket frozen burger. Reasonable. I won't go floor scraping, not donkey burger, just a reasonable burger, and I'll set the two together, and I guarantee every single carnivore will choose the vegan option. Guarantee it, because I know for myself that your average burger is just a bit it just is. It's just a bit and when you compare it, because the vegan burgers don't have all that horrible like mouthfeel fat, like it's just they're cleaner. The Beyond Burgers, there's a particular brand, maybe, maybe there's like competition amongst other brands. Maybe I'm not, into it. But when they get it right, when they get a good vegan burger right, it's, I've eaten some. I said donkey burger. I've been to the football, and again, like, if I'm prepared to eat whatever that van, it wasn't even a van. Like I swear to you, I've had a burger out the back of a van where it's like somebody's cooked a load of burgers, parked up by the football, and been like, "Here are some burgers that I've cooked. Would you like to buy one for £1?" And like, there's 40 of them in my bag. Here, one. Like, yeah, donkey burgers. I've eaten some donkey burgers. Yeah, I know what burgers are like, so I can guarantee. I'll just give you one bite of each, and then I say, which one do you want to finish? And they'll choose the vegan burger. Yeah. They'll choose it. If you do it right, if you cook it nice, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's clean, like, it's neat, it tastes nice. You get that meaty umami, because umami's a flavour. Like, it's a thing, it's a scientific thing. They can say that flavour, that's how it, you don't have to kill the animal and cut its head off to get that. You can have that flavour, that exact thing. All they have to do is get their little science pals in their little science office, say to each other, look, we're being paid healthy money here by this meat company, but do you know what? We're also going to get reasonable money from this other company, and we don't have to do any killing. So let's just go and work for them. See, mysoprotein, but I don't even know what that is, but I bet it's nice. You're getting into the science that I'm talking about. You see, and isn't that exciting as well, to be on the cutting edge of science, for there to be creating like new foods out of, instead of just the stuff that you've got lying around and you just put it in your pot and you eat it. They're like, what would be the best thing for a human to possibly, what would be the best thing they could fuel themselves with? Like fungus, yeah, absolutely. Like mushrooms are really full of all such goodness. Why don't we produce that, and let's all eat it. So yeah, that's like, and then the problem you go in a restaurant and you can't have it. They're not doing it. But you go to more cosmopolitan, tap the microphone. Go to more cosmopolitan places. There's more options. Demand opens and changes. I just think that it just makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Ecologically as well was mentioned earlier, wasn't it? Ecologically, turkey at Christmas. This is an excellent example. We didn't always eat a turkey at Christmas. Before the turkey, we had something different, and like before Christmas, we had something different to that, and like we didn't have these electric lights all the time, but now we have them. You can just change whatever you want. You can absolutely, like, one year we didn't have turkey. We had. Do you remember that? I bet you do. One year we didn't have turkey. We had. You say, fill it in your blank. I bet it happened to you. And Christmas wasn't ruined. Christmas was still Christmas. One year we didn't have turkey. We had. Christmas was still Christmas. You can have just like something slightly different. I'll tell you what I have. I have a lovely, and I'm not going to name the brand again, but it's like a meatloaf essentially, not made of meat. It's not nut loaf, like, oh, horrible, cabbage loaf. It's just, it feels like a sort of alternative meatloaf, and it's really good. And I think to myself, I'm glad that, like, I'm glad that I'm really enjoying my dinner, and that there's no, like, implicit guilt. Yeah. Poor turkeys. Imagine that. Imagine your life being bred so that you could stay in this little pen with like loads of other. Oh, I just want to be out there. And you're allowed to run around sometimes if you're a lucky one, but that just means they're going to charge more money for you when you're dead. I mean, you don't live long, you don't prosper. So yeah. And it'd be easy, wouldn't it? The Christmas spirit, just to offer that, extend that to animals. Just extend that a little bit to the animals, just one Christmas. Even if you did it one Christmas and see how it felt. And then, other people are going to be eating the turkey. Absolutely. They'll probably even cook the fucker. I saw. Ugh. But, yeah, it doesn't think like me. No, it doesn't. It doesn't think like me. But it doesn't want to die, does it? pretty sure about that. And I'll tell you something else. You haven't hung out with the goose. Maybe you have. Maybe you've hung out with the goose a long time. Like maybe you've had one in your home. Maybe you've got used to it being around, and maybe you've discovered its personality traits and foibles. But I guarantee that they have at least some semblance of consciousness and will, some desire, some happy feeling, this is good, I'm good with this is good, I'm happy, and some feeling, oh, this is anxiety, oh, pressure, oh, scare. I'm pretty sure it thinks that as much like me. Hung out with a swan, you see, he hung out with a swan. They're not in our ecosystem in the way that our pets are, but if you've ever hung out with an animal, say a pet, a cat, a dog, like, you realise that that's not just, you can't just go and kill the dog. Are you mad? You can't just kill the dog. The geese, they're happy running around. They seem happy enough in the farm. Yeah? Fine. They'd be slightly happier. You don't know how happy they are. You don't know if being all, loads of them all in the same pen like that, free range, whatever. You don't know if they'd be happier just in the, because there are wild geese. I've seen them. They seem happy enough as well. Whatever, just like their feelings, let them get on with their feelings. They're geese, as we say. They don't think exactly like me, but not killing them at the end of it, not killing them, not doing the murder on them. They just wander around a big farm. I've seen geese like that, yeah. Maybe they're all right. Maybe one or two get through the system, but the ones I'm talking about, the ones we murder and eat. I just, if a goose wants to wander around your farm, that's all right, I suppose. We used to have geese as guard animals because they're like territorial. See, they've got a characteristic, a trait, territorial. They wander around the big farm. They're the geese. They're nice. Leave them alone. They're fine. Don't eat them at Christmas. You don't have to. Don't have to. This Christmas, give yourself the gift of modern science, eating, tech, food, cake. Look, that's enough now, isn't it? It's 11 o'clock at my end. I've got to walk the dog. He's going to be desperate for his poo. I've got to go. You've been good. You have been good. It's been way beyond you being good. Now we just got into just chatting. So, and that's the theme of the segment that we're in, just chatting. If you get an animal a happy life, then eat it. Is that what we want to do with you? Yeah. Would you feel happy with that? If we gave you a happy life and then ate you at our choosing, when you decide it's time, when we decide, not when it's time for you to die naturally of natural causes, but when we decide you're nice and plump. I mean, you could do that. That's kind of fair. I mean, I know animals, like you say, they don't think like us. I mean, would that animal, would it say to you, like, give it the choice, we can kill you now, or you can just carry on living? Is it time for us to eat you? I mean, what do you think if the animal could get any semblance of the option? I mean, sometimes they do get a semblance of the option. Sometimes they feel a bit, oh, I don't like the look of this slaughterhouse. That doesn't look like it's going to have positive effects on me when it encounters me. They can feel like that, I suppose. The fear, the anxiety. I don't want them to feel like... Have you ever felt that fear and anxiety about anything? Imagine that. Imagine feeling like that, and then it being real, and then that being that you're someone's dinner at the end of it. I don't want to make that happen. Not just so I can eat. Like, give them the happy lives, fine. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? I mean, if you want to eat it, fine. You can eat anything. Do you know what I mean? You can eat anything. I can eat batteries. I can eat cutlery. I'm tough. But also I can eat fruit and I can eat vegetables. I'm tough. It's not even that, I don't know, like killing an animal and eating that. Is that tough? It's tough on the animal, I suppose. I don't know, it's just options, isn't it? It's just options. And, like, if you're really certain, I suppose, I mean, this is true as well, there is a degree, and I do feel a bit like if someone wanted to eat insects and I'm a vegan, I'd be like, no, you shouldn't. But like, if you're killing ants, like, I've got to concentrate on this person who's killing cows, because like cows are definitely more are they definitely more sentient? I don't know. There are degrees. I don't know. There are degrees, aren't there? But I don't know if you've ever hung out with a dog. I mean, a cow is much bigger than a dog, isn't it? I saw the sheep in the fields today, all with their Not all the lambs. Some of the lambs are gone because they've been taken to be killed for Easter. But you know, there's sheep in the fields anyway. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're bigger than my dog. They've got brains. We evolved. We're mammals. I'm a mammal. I've got this talking mouth. I've got that bit going on. But essentially, how far away from like the other mammals am I? How far away from a monkey am I? How far away from like you know, what do we go back beyond that? I don't know how it connects exactly, but at some point, weren't we dogs? Oh, don't go on. Don't get me onto this. Don't get me onto this. But you know what I mean. Evolution. We all come from this stem, don't we? You know, primates, primates. I'm pretty sure our brains, like they're similar, though, aren't they? They've got the same stuff going on. Like we've got same sort of muscles, same sort of bones, same sort of. You used to be dogs. I knew someone would pick me up on that. I knew you'd be listening. I don't know. Like we used to all be mammals or something. Look. My point is that it's fairly similar. Let's just, I don't know, I'm just sowing some seeds, aren't I? Just sowing some seeds. We're fairly similar. Have a little think about it. You know, go and hang out with some animals. Look in their eyes. Decide if you should decide when they die. Decide if you should be the one to do it, or if it's okay that somebody else does it at a factory. Ooh, sounds bad, doesn't it? I don't know, it sounds bad to me. Anyway, enjoy your dinner. I'm going to go and have some beans.